The Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum on a warm, humid night here in Southern California, where tonight 2 of the NFL's remaining 3 undefeated teams will meet. The Miami Dolphins, led by this man now in his 21st year as a head coach, 14 of Miami, 7 of Baltimore. They have a 2-0 record. They have defeated Buffalo and they defeated New England, and they will go up tonight against the Los Angeles Raiders, who are also 2-0. They beat Cincinnati in their opener, and they beat Houston a week ago last Sunday. Tom Flores, who used a quarterback for these very same Raiders up in Oakland. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and O.J. Simpson, and we anticipate a crowd of some 55,000 tonight, but it's 6 o'clock Pacific Coast time and 6 o'clock in Los Angeles, and you're in danger of gridlock, and so I'm sure a few of the fans will be arriving late. As you can see, Miami on your right is set to kick off. Dropping deep will be Greg Pruitt and Clee Montgomery. Greg Pruitt, former Cleveland Brown, who came to the Raiders a year ago, used to do a lot of punt return and kickoff return duties with the Cleveland Browns. And they resurrected that a year ago, and he's performed very well. This is Uwe von Schamann on a roll as the field goal kicker of the Miami Dolphins, set to get the proceedings underway. The 2-0 Dolphins against the 2-0 Raiders in this young 1983 NFL season. Von Schamann drills it deep to Clee Montgomery, and wisely Greg Pruitt moves across and tells young Clee Montgomery to stay there. And here comes the quarterback, Jim Plunkett, who's had more comebacks than Billy Martin coming out onto the field. He leads the Raider offense, an offense that, while it has not been explosive in the first 2 games, is noted for its explosiveness. They'll take the risk. They like to go with the bomb, and the man that can hang it up is Jim Plunkett. The deep man on the outside, of course, is Cliff Branch, and one of the great ones to come into this game, who performed so admirably for the Southern California Trojans right on this very same field as their Marcus Allen working behind this line. And a good one it is. The Raiders have always felt that they wanted size in their offensive line, and they have it. They have a little weak spot on the right side perhaps tonight. Mickey Marvin, a fine right guard, is not expected to play. In his place, it'll be Steve Sylvester, the veteran from Notre Dame, who plays all the positions along the line. Jim Plunkett brings up the Raiders' first offensive play of the night from the 20-yard line. Kenny King is in there with Marcus Allen, and on 1st and 10, Plunkett goes back and has to dump it off, and he goes to Kenny King. King breaks the tackle and down the sideline over the 25-yard line to the 26-yard line, taken out of bounds by Mark Brown. That's the front 3. Now, the Miami Dolphin defense will change constantly. Doug Betters, Baumauer, Bocamper, familiar names. The man you saw at the top of the show, A.J. Dewey, he moves all over the field, but it's a very disciplined defense, unlike the way the Raiders used Ted Hendricks. The secondary, it's been hurt by the loss of Don McNeil at the left cornerback, and they are hurting at linebacker. Of course, the tragic loss of Larry Gordon in the offseason from a heart attack. And Ernie Roan, the inside linebacker on the right side, is not expected to go tonight. Mark Brown, a rookie to do, is replacing him. 2nd down and 4, Marcus Allen, left side up close to the 1st down near the 30-yard line. The former Heisman Trophy Award winner.
Yeah, you notice Marcus on the first play, he got a real nice comeback block for Kenny King. He hit Bob Baumauer, and Bob had to get up a little slow, and I don't think they expected Marcus to be the guy to be the physical one for him today, but the Oakland Raiders' basic game plan in the past against the Miami Dolphins is to try to beat them up. They found in the past that they can get physical with them and take advantage of that later on in the game.
Less than a yard to go for the 1st down for the Raiders. King and Allen, movement a little bit on the part of Allen. Serge might have got the 1st down. It will be dependent upon where they mark it. And already Ray Guy is coming back out onto the field. That was Mark Brown, the 9th round draft pick, who's filling in to the right side for the Miami Dolphins. And now Ray Guy takes his troops, the punting unit, with the Raiders back off the field as Marcus Allen over the top got the 1st down. And you speak of Marcus Allen, it's kind of interesting. Last year he led the NFL in scoring, and that was the first time a non-kicker had led the NFL in scoring since the man in our booth did it back in 1975, O.J. Simpson. And he was the first rookie to do it since Gale Sayers did it back in '65. Just a remarkable athlete, a good receiver, a good runner. Number 32, Marcus Allen, a former high school quarterback, so he will throw the ball. On 1st down and 10, Plunkett will put it up on top. Man wide open is Barnwell, the speedy outside receiver, out over the 40-yard line to the 43, wide open back there. Great speed, Howard, they have on the outside, and those 4 deep men that they've burned with Branch and Muhammad and Barnwell and Williams.
They really do have that speed, and tonight viewers will get to see a guy named Dokie Williams, a fine long jumper who is developing into a class act. Meanwhile, there's Barnwell. He's come along very well. Remember the night he took the big bomb from Mark Wilson? Wilson's first throw, Barnwell's first score.
They can fly on the outside. This is Allen. He didn't like what was happening inside, so he breaks it off to the outside. Pursued there by Charlie Bowser at the right outside linebacker position, but Allen was able to get a couple. Give him 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, the Miami Dolphins would be a difficult team to establish a running game on early. The way they play basic on first down, they play the run. Their defensive linemen don't really try to penetrate. They try to get their hands on the offensive linemen and just flow to the ball. And they're a pretty tough team to run on early in the game unless you got a passing game going and you're forcing those guys to try to put pressure on the quarterback. You know, it's going to be hard to establish a good running game.
Bill Arnsparger under Don Shula has done a great job with them. They are very disciplined. They go where they're supposed to go, and they rarely make mistakes. Very difficult to beat as we watch Marcus Allen again, who is the workhorse thus far. Very warm night, very humid, temperature about 85, 87. As Allen gets over midfield, short of the first down by about 3, and they'll mark it near the 49-yard line.
Somehow he got about 5 yards out of that, which is the way he runs. He gets more yardage than you think he's getting. Kind of slithers.
Yeah, he's a lot stronger than he appears, and he has excellent balance.
3rd down and 3 now for the Raiders. Barnwell split to the right. That's Cliff Branch, the speedy veteran up at the top of the screen. Pluck and run it. Branch had to settle for the tight end, Todd Christensen, who has another Raider first down near the 40-yard line of the Miami Dolphins. Bob Brzezinski in there on the coverage.
Interesting thing about Plunkett, Juice, he's generally speaking a maligned quarterback because he can look terrible. But the Raiders have a fixed policy. They're not even concerned with percentage of receptions. Plunkett is a big play man, and he's proved out in that regard. And somehow he's a winner. That's all that matters.
You're right, Howard.
Read the defense well. Branch double covered. He knew that Christensen could not be, and he came back to Christensen for the first down. Here's Allen. Slithering move to the inside, and once again it's going to be Allen for about 5. Down close to the 35-yard line again. Brzezinski on the stop.
As I said earlier, you know, the Oakland Raiders, they don't try to do anything fancy against the L.A. Raiders.
That's one.
That's one. We have a better. The L.A. Raiders, they don't try to do anything fancy against the Miami Dolphins. Over the years, they've just tried to muscle them. Miami tend to have average-sized defensive linemen. They don't have those 270, 80-pound guys, and they just try to muscle them up front.
Drive of about 5 minutes thus far for the Raiders up to the opening kickoff. Fred Hawkins, 27, setback. As the ball goes once again to Allen. Once again, Allen produces. And it looks like another Raider first down inside the 30-yard line, or very close to it.
You called him a workhorse, and he certainly is. A most durable athlete. There's Tom Flores, a most durable man. A man who never has been properly publicized. As you look at Allen there, 20 yards and 6 rushes so far. Flores, a man who conquered tuberculosis. Never made a big fuss about it. Quality guy. Much better coach than he's given credit for being because he works for Davis, who gets the publicity.
Inches, as you can see, for the first down.
Well, they're doing something interesting right away. They're getting the ball to Marcus Allen. You know, one of Marcus's mild complaints, he hasn't really argued about it, but he felt in the first 2 games he didn't get the ball enough. And a back like him would like to have the ball at least 25 times a game, either running and receiving.
In the production meeting, I'll get this in quickly, Frank. Juice said to Flores, "You're giving the ball to Marcus enough?" And Marcus said, Flores said, "Did Marcus ask you to ask me that?"
That's Hawkins over the left side. He'll have a Raider first down, hurdling over Big Charlie Hanna and Bruce Davis on the left side. And the Raiders now have run off over 5-6 minutes, or close to 6 minutes here in the first quarter. Frank Hawkins out of the University of Nevada, Reno 3 years ago, came up as a bit of a surprise as a 10th round draft pick a couple of years ago, but shouldn't have been because they gained over 5,000 yards in his career. They thought he was too short, thought he was too slow, and he's been quite a producer for the Raiders. That's number 27, Frank Hawkins. 12th play of this drive near the 28-yard line of the Dolphins. Quick toss. It goes to Allen. He turns it so quickly. Flag is down as Allen is down near the 21. Pops it up. The Dolphins are saying they've got it, and they do have it. Mark Brown made the hit. There was a flag down. And it is going to work against the Raiders, so Miami's going to have the football. Red Cashin, the referee tonight.
This is a problem with any team at any football level, high school, college, or pro, when you keep grinding it out. Sooner or later, there's usually a mistake, and this was it.
Well, that's the way Miami plays defense. Miami defense is geared not to give you the big play. They say if you can drive down the field and score on them, well, you can have it. But they wait for you to make a mistake, and they take advantage of it. We'll be back in a moment.
Glenn Blackwood of the Blackwood brothers collected the fumble for Marcus Allen, and Miami has the football following a 6-minute and 15-second drive by the Raiders. The Dolphins now at their own 19-yard line. The quarterback, of course, David Woodley, up looking it over. That's Nat Moore, the veteran wide receiver, in motion. Andre Franklin pulls ahead for about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Let's take a look at this offensive unit. David Woodley, of course, out of LSU. A bit of a surprise when he came up a few years ago as an 8th-round draft pick. There he is. Howard said it at the top of the show. He can have spectacular days and nights, others that are not so spectacular. And there it is. The skill positions, if you will. Now over at right tackle, Roy Foster is in there for Eric Laxo. Roy Foster, of course, one draft pick by Miami a year ago, played his collegiate football right here in the Coliseum. 2nd down and 7. Mark close to the 23-yard line for the Miami Dolphins. Franklin breaks back inside, looks for the 1st down marker, gets up very close to it, perhaps a little short. Will meet the defensive unit of the Oakland Raiders, or excuse me, that's one for me, the Los Angeles Raiders. 3-man front, of course. It'll change considerably. We'll see a lot of Greg Townsend, a rookie out of Texas Christian, and a rookie from Rutgers named Pickell. The linebackers, what can you say about Ted Hendricks? 14 years he's played, now in his 15th, and has never missed a game because of an injury. The cornerback, Lester Hayes, a great one, has a sore ankle tonight, but he's out there in the lineup. It's 3rd down and 2 as Franklin moves up close to the 27-yard line.
At every level, Hendricks has played for 26 years. Only time he ever missed a game was once in his sophomore year in high school. Incredible physical specimen.
He's not in the twilight either. He is still getting it done and done well. Nat Moore motions right. Franklin, the pursuit will collect Franklin. Moving up there was Van McElroy.
But the guy that made that play work for him, stopped rather for him for the Raiders, was Rod Martin. I think he's been a little under-publicized with this Raiders defense. He's been just voted the defensive captain for the team, and he did an excellent job.
At this point in time, he is the most versatile and most effective of all the linebackers on the team, including the great Hendricks.
Greg Pruitt has dropped back close to his 27-yard line. That's out of respect for this man, the rookie out of Iowa, Reggie Roby. He gets his foot in, and he's a big man. He can put it out of the Coliseum, practically. Great kicker. Slow in getting it off. Doesn't turn it over. Doesn't spiral it. Short kick. Fair catch called for and made by Greg Pruitt up at the 38-yard line. And Jim Plunkett will rally the troops and take them back for their 2nd offensive set. We have 7:46 in the 1st quarter and no score from Los Angeles.
Well, there's the long-term record. The Raiders dominating the Dolphins. These teams don't care for one another. That's been evident through the years. But the leaders of the team, Schuler and Al Davis, have maximum respect for each other as football men.
Raiders, 2nd possession, 1st down at their own 38-yard line. Plunkett rolling out right, looking for a receiver. Fires deep at Barnwell, and Barnwell had moved behind Brzezinski in front of William Judson. He was wide open. 1st down. Raiders at the 42-yard line of Miami. A 21-yard pickup, and again, a good move by Barnwell to work into that open area.
Well, what Barnwell is doing, the Oakland receivers are probably the fastest in the league. Miami's defensive, Miami's defensive philosophy is not to give them the deep one, so they're just giving them a cushion right now, and Barnwell is just running a 17-yard out, 17-yard in, and he's wide open.
Working against William Judson, a backup safety a year ago until Don McNeil was hurt. 1st down and 10. Plunkett Looking deep for the corner. Cliff Branch was there. Cliff Branch working against Gerald Small. Almost came back to get it.
Cliff Branch did what a great veteran receiver will do. He looked at the ball, and he came back on it.
Yeah, Gerald Small had pretty good position.
Certainly did, but look at Cliff right there, coming back on it, leaping for it, just over his reach. He could have had that ball if he were as tall as the Juice.
12 years.
I would have made you a wide receiver.
12 years for Branch. 1 out of every 7 passes he catches has been for a touchdown. He still has the speed. We have a second down and 10. Inside the 42-yard line. Plunkett back again, scrambling. And Plunkett down to the 35-yard line where he's pounded there by Kim Bokamper. Speaking of a great veteran talent, Johnny Mathis was here to do the national anthem honors. This man just rolls on and on.
He sure does. Remember when he did Help Me Make It Through the Night?
He was a fine high jumper, long jumper from Washington High School.
He was Bill Russell's guest with us at the Munich Olympics. Remember? Frank had a great time during the game.
3rd down and 4.
Until tragedy struck us all down.
Raiders inside the 35-yard line. Marcus Allen reads it so quickly. He saw it was closed inside, broke it to the outside, gets the first down in the arms of William Judson.
Well, thus far, both teams' game plans have been working. The Raiders said they were going to come out here. They knew they outweighed the Dolphins, and they were just going to try to wear them down. What they're doing now is running basic drive plays on them and let Marcus pick their hold. And in the first drive, they moved the ball right down the field. And the Raiders, the Dolphins' philosophy, let them have a short one. We'll take advantage when they made a mistake, and they did. And the game is going according to plan.
Allen, 8 carries, has picked up his number, 32 yards. In the 31-yard line, Allen once again finding running room over the right side behind the block of Steve Sylvester and Henry Lawrence.
They're really moving out that Miami defensive line in the very manner that Frank touched on earlier. Raider teams habitually do not have pulling running guards. You don't see the old Lombardi type of sweep in the Raiders offense, only very occasionally. Instead, they want those big men who can pass block and who drive straight ahead.
And they're big ones, too. They all go around 270. Allen got 4 yards, 2nd down and 6. Kenny King breaks it back, and he'll have another first down inside the 20-yard line near the 18.
Just as we said, Frank.
They're just blowing out the front 3 of the defensive line of Miami. Let's take a look at it again. Just surging ahead.
The basic play, they hand it to the fullback and tell him to pick whatever hole is open. You see him cut back, they're blowing him off the line of scrimmage, and what's going to happen is those two Blackwood brothers that are playing safety, both Glenn and Lala, are going to have to come up to help stop those runs, and that's when that Oakland Raider big play offense will come to be.
First down and 10. The Raiders on another drive. Kenny King, left side, and King this time held to a couple of yards as he gets close to the 16-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Big Ted Hendricks. You look great, guy.
A little gray in his hair there, huh?
Not getting any older. You know, the man played quarterback in high school and grade school, Frank.
I think he can play anything he wanted to play.
Yeah, I've been out of the game almost 4 years now, and I played against Ted on this very field. He was the Mad Stork from Miami.
And he was an old man then. 2nd down and 8. At the 16-yard line, there is no score. 3:39 and the clock is moving in the first quarter. Plunkett either missed the handoff to King and reacted quickly to get it to Allen, or that was a set play. I'd rather think that he missed the handoff.
It looked like
Hauser made the stop. It'll bring up a 3rd down and considerable yardage for the first down of 4 yards. It'll put Plunkett into the passing situation.
Yeah, I think Plunkett had a little problem turning around there. It looked like he expected them to run the other way, and he just didn't get turned around and get the handoff off.
But still, the game yardage.
At the 13-yard line, Plunkett now in the pass situation. He puts Barnwell out to the left, as well as Cliff Branch. They're up there. Branch is in the slot. Barnwell up at the top of your screen. Plunkett, a lot of time trying to get to Christensen. Will have pass interference, I do believe, as Glenn Blackwood was in a shoving, pushing contest with Todd Christensen on the sideline.
I'll tell you, they got Christensen. Yep, you're right, Frank. He got Christensen virtually for nothing, and he's become one of the stick-out tight ends in the league. Another big play man.
This was just immediately after the foul was committed, I do believe. Flag is just flying there, as you saw. Blackwood got himself positioned in front of Christensen, and then...
Well, as you know, Todd Christensen was a running back up at BYU. They liked the way he caught the ball, and they thought he had the size. He ran good patterns that he'd make a good tight end, and
they had a mark for a tight end. Of course, you'll remember it was the Cowboys who drafted him number 2, wasn't it?
Second-round pick as a running back. Giants had him for a cup of coffee, and then the Raiders, who had looked at him as a tight end to begin with, got him, and that's where he's playing. A little bit of technical problems here with the scoreboard clock. They're trying to work it out on the field, and we'll look once again at Jim Plunkett, who had that Cinderella season back in 1980. Former Heisman Award winner in his own right back in 1970 and Rookie of the Year in 71 in New England. We'll be back in a moment.
Tonight, you'll see...
Well, they have rearranged things. The clock is now functioning once again. 2:55 remaining in the first quarter. The Raiders first down goal to go, 3-yard line of Miami. No score here in the first quarter. Hawkins over the right side behind Dalby, and Sylvester into the end zone, and this time the Raiders drive pays off. It began at the 38-yard line on a poor kick from Roby, fair caught by Pruitt, and the Raiders using Allen most of the way, and then collecting the pass interference penalty at the 3-yard line took it in. We'll have Chris Barr now for the conversion.
This certainly isn't a gimme. Chris Barr has been having a lot of trouble kicking the ball. He missed a couple of field goals last week that he should have had easily.
He's got the thrill back in the conversion for them. Well, it got through the uprights in a peculiar way. There's the man who put it in the end zone. That's Frank Hawkins, the third-year man out of Nevada at Reno. We'll be back in just a moment. Holden Walker has not been able to break one this year, but you remember him from the Super Bowl. He set a Super Bowl record, 4 kickoff returns, 190 yards. He took one for 98 yards just before the half. Chris Barr to kick off, and Walker awaits. Barr hangs it high. Walker, decision time? No, he'll stay in the end zone. And Miami will have their second possession. It'll be out of their 20-yard line following the touchback. And David Whitley drops onto the field as the light begins to fade here in Los Angeles in the early evening with 2:45 remaining in the first quarter. We'll be back at the Coliseum right after this. Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, where if Howard would have played his college football here, we would have all played there, O.J.
Wise guy.
It's seen many a great football game, both UCLA, SC, the Rams, L.A. Dons over the years. It's pretty good in 1932. Now the Dolphins, their second possession. Nathan struggles for a couple. Defensively, Howie Long was there.
Well, this certainly isn't unusual. As I said, the L.A. Raiders, that's 4, Juice. The L.A. Raiders, they try to intimidate people. That's the way they play ball. As I said earlier, they felt that they historically have been able to handle the Miami Dolphins. They've beat them up in the past. They felt they've gotten physical with them, and it's paid off later on in the football game. And I really had expected to see a few aggressive penalties on the Raiders' part. Roughing the passer, or, unnecessary roughness.
We got 4 Oaklands out already. We're in the first quarter. Second down and 8. Woody Bennett is in there for Franklin as Whitley's back. He has the time. The flag is down. We'll get a holding call, I think. Harry Laxo over the right side. There is the holding call, and it's going to work against the Dolphins.
I thought it was Cooch. I may be wrong.
Could be. Whoever was trying to keep Howie Long.
That's the point. Howie Long
had their hands full.
Most of you will remember Howie Long is the last man out of Villanova, personally scouted by Tom Flores. He is simply a terrific ball player.
And the Dolphins will be backed up. Here's Red Cashin with the word.
Holding number 61 of the offense. Will still be second down.
That's Roy Foster, young Roy Foster, who is in there tonight for Laxo, working against Howie Long. Foster had a great All-American career here at USC, making his first start.
Oh, he may have a long night, Frank, against Long.
Yeah, he'll learn quickly. He's a big man. He's 6'4", about 270. Second down and 20. Woodley out of the shotgun. That means that Dwight Stevenson will move over to guard. Facing Kutzenberg, and Mark Dennard comes in to do the snapping for the Dolphins. Woodley, that is offensive line, pushed right back into him as we watch Duriel Harris come down out of the 22-yard line, where it'll be second down and about 8.
Interesting to see Harris back in the lineup. He was beset by personal problems which do not tastefully warrant description on the air, and jumped the team, but only briefly. Endured a fine and is back. And one thing about him, problems or no, this is a great receiver.
Personal problems, but he missed a couple of, a couple of meetings, and have not. I think Don Shula lost Jimmy Cepolo and Tommy Vigorito for the season. There might have been further action against Duriel Harris. This is third down, not second down. Woodley puts it up for Harris, and Harris comes down, makes the reception. He's in the arm of brother Mark Clayton. That's that rookie from Louisville. We watched at Washington in an exhibition game. He was in the arms of Ted Watts, and he did not have to come down in bounds if he didn't, because Watts was wrestling him out of bounds.
We spotted Clayton in that preseason game that Frank mentioned when Miami clobbered Washington 38-7. This kid from Louisville is a comer. Again, followed the football, underthrown, came back on it. And a young one.
Well, you see a little problem that Ted Watts has been having. He's been getting beat often when he had the guy covered. He had the guy covered pretty well, but he doesn't have good instinct for the ball. He doesn't watch the ball by flight. He doesn't need the receiver well enough to know when the ball is there.
That'll come. He's relatively young. Ted Watts at the right corner for the Raiders. First down, 47-yard line of the Raiders. That Moore in motion. Franklin follows Ed Newman, who gave him a good block. This brings him for about 6 yards.
What's interesting, Juice, is, and we'll probably notice it during the course of the game, they're staying away from Lester Hayes. He didn't have the greatest year a year ago, not for the kind of talent Lester has, but he's back where he belongs, and he is very, very respected.
Of course, Nat Moore will be working over there most of the evening. We mentioned Jimmy Cepolo and Tommy Vigorito gone for the season, both with knee injuries. Nat Moore out of the doghouse, if you will. He had 3 fine receptions last week. Key reception for 42 yards. There he is, top of your screen, former All-Pro, who hasn't seen much action the past couple of years. Franklin, Syracuse on the right side, looking for a first down yardage, and he'll be perhaps a yard short. Under Franklin, he came up, they thought they had themselves a good blocking fullback, and he has turned into one of the finer running backs in the league.
Well, Carl Tasev, I mentioned this in that preseason game, deserves all the credit for that. He was sent out to scout a different running back, and he came back and said, the man we want is Franklin.
I'm sure when they Franklin in, they brought him in to be a blocker because he blocked by him, Rip Stearns, and Jarvis Redwine up in Nebraska, did an excellent job.
Third down, less than 1. The ball near the 38-yard line of the Raiders. The Raiders on top, 7-0. Tony Nathan gets it easy to the 35-yard line. Tony Nathan, a very versatile back. Good receiver coming out of the backfield. Surprising with Franklin in there to get the call on the short yardage, but he did.
Got a tender hamstring. May have to play it a bit gingerly tonight, but showed no evidence on that play.
Well, what they did when they brought Franklin in, they brought him in to be a blocker for Nathan. And Nathan got hurt last year, and they had to run Franklin a little more, and they found out they had one of the finer fullbacks in the game.
David Woodley with your man from LSU looks it over. Hendricks, he will not maybe get credit for the sack, but he was the reason for the sack. He went high in the air. Woodley had no chance to deliver the ball. And the loss will be back to the 42-yard line.
He is still so great at the tease of the program. We showed him, and I said he is still great at getting to the passer, forcing the fumble, though not called such here. Still great at blocking the pass. The only place he's lost it a little bit because of the years past is dropping back against the pass.
Dan Johnson, the second-year tight end from Iowa State from Miami, was supposed to block Hendricks. He got a lesson. He didn't even touch him. We'll be back. The Goodyear blimp Columbia soaring around over the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Captain Corky Ballinger is up there, along with Harriet Ewell, our camera person, on a night when you could, well, literally cut the air here in Los Angeles. If you like your air where you can see it, they had that kind of a day today. Tropical storm, or I guess they call it Pacific storm out here. Manuel is somewhere off the Mexico coast, sending a lot of clouds into the area. They're anticipating rains later on this evening and probably tomorrow. But it's a warm, humid night. The Dolphins have a second down and 18. Flags are everywhere. Harris between two Raider defenders, but flags are down back where the offensive line was trying to protect Woodley, and you saw the preliminary call holding once again. Raiders come at you in so many different ways. They change personnel. They move Ted Hendricks all over the line. They say he comes from about 7 or 8 different positions.
I'm sure that holding penalty is going to go against a Greg Townsend, number 93. You know, when the Raiders get a team in a passing situation, they bring in 2 rookies, number 71 Bill Pickell and Greg Townsend, number 93. And these guys, they think are going to be their linemen.
Holding during the pass, number 61 of the offense, still second down.
Roy Foster now has 2 holds.
Said he's going to have a long night. Watch it right there in the middle of the screen.
These rookies are excellent. They think they're going to be their linemen of the future. And when they get into a situation where they don't have to worry about the run, they're probably as tough as any team in football right now.
Raiders now with the 4 down linemen. That means Townsend is in there, the rookie from Texas Christian, and the rookie from Rutgers, Bill Pickell. Second down and a whole bundle for David Whitley. He's under pressure again, gets it off underneath this time. And Nat Moore works his way inside the 40-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and about 13 for David Whitley.
Pickell, a young man from Rutgers, is a special delight of Tom Flores. He talked about him with unremitting praise at the production meeting today. They're the first quarter stats. You see the domination in first downs and right down the line for the Raiders. They did have an early turnover. Miami couldn't capitalize, couldn't even follow up with a first down. Had to kick back, and then the Raiders marched downfield again and capitalized.
Woodley once again in the passing situation. 3rd down, long 13. The ball just inside the 39-yard line. Miami down 7-0. Both teams 2-0 on the season. Again, the pressure, the offensive line back in Woodley's face, but he's agile, moves around, look for receiver, picked off. It was Jim Davis, the nickelback, a 5th-round draft pick out of Southern University, makes the turnover.
Woodley tipped that play with his eyes, and Davis read it all the way and was just waiting for him to throw it.
Yeah, he saw him trying to tell Nat Moore to scramble a little bit. He wanted Nat Moore to go to the middle of the field, and Davis watched him all the way, and Davis went to the middle of the field and makes the interception. Nat Moore been the all-pro, the former pro he's been, made the tackle. And
Howie Long chasing Woodley out of the pocket, and the Raiders have the ball back at their own 36-yard line. Jim Davis with the interception for the Raiders. We saw him against San Diego pick one off and go 52 yards for a touchdown a year ago. Very opportunistic young man out of Southern University, and the Raiders have a 1st down and 10 at their 36-yard line. They have a 7-0 lead. Early moments of the second quarter here in Los Angeles. Plunkett will go down, and he tries to rattle the ball, and they're going to say the whistle had blown as A.J. Dewey rained on Plunkett. He flipped the lateral to Kenny King with the whistle had blown, and the loss will be back inside the 30-yard line.
Take a look at it from the end zone. It looked like they had a stun on, and I think Dewey beat Henry Lawrence. Kenny King didn't get over there to help out.
Well, Jim shouldn't have thrown that ball. He should know better than that. And that was what we saw Dewey doing in the very tease of our program.
28-yard line for the Raiders. Credit Dewey with the sack. 2nd down and 18. Marcus Allen. Raiders going back to what was working for them, and Allen gets up close to the original line of scrimmage, where it'll be 3rd down and 11. I want to remind you, coming up Saturday, college football at its finest right here on ABC. It'll be live at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Regional college football, West Virginia against Boston College, a battle of top quarterbacks. Jeff Hofstetler leads the Mountaineers against Doug Flutie and the undefeated Boston College Eagles. Illinois against Michigan State. Texas Tech against Baylor. Virginia against North Carolina State. Tennessee State versus Florida A&M. Check your local listings for the game in your area. 3rd down and about 11. Raiders just at their own 35-yard line. Plunkett back again, feeling pressure again. And down goes Plunkett, and he could get called for throwing that one away, but they do not throw the flag. He had a black-shirted Raider apparently in his sights. And that'll bring up 4th down, and we'll see the punting unit and Ray Guy, who has been troubled the past couple of years with a bad back, but he is seemingly all right now. He'll do the punting. He's done it so well ever since he was a first-round pick in '73. Mark Clayton is deep.
What a good augury in that series for the Dolphins. Twice they got to Jim Plunkett.
And they did it with the blitz. Ray Guy, first-round pick in '73 out of southern Mississippi. Fell off last year, but they say he's back. This time it's not a good kick. And this is Clayton. And Clayton, fine run back, gets up close to the 40-yard line. Jack Spyrick made the stop for the Raiders, but it'll be 1st down and 10. Good field position for Miami. They trail by 7. 12:05 remaining in the first half. The Dolphins, with the best defensive showing in the early going, get the football back at their own 39-yard line. And David Whitley now has David Overstreet, a rookie first-round draft pick. A couple of years ago in 1981, went up to Canada. Played up there a couple of years. He's in there now, number 20, along with Andre Franklin. This is Overstreet. Left side, good defensive play. Gain of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Rod Martin was there.
I guess most of you know, even in this early going this year, about Overstreet, a #1 draft choice by the Dolphins, who elected to go to Canada. Proved a fumbler up there. The problem seems to persist in the National Football League for him. And frankly, while Shula's sticking with him, he's been a disappointment to Don thus far.
Well, it seems to be a rash of it this year. Overstreet was a fumbler. He also led the league in rushing. 2nd and 9. Whitley under a lot of pressure, and he gets it out to Woody Bennett.
Actually, that ball was deflected. Very fortunate.
But at least they're doing something that they're going to have to do. They aren't going to be able to throw the bomb against the Raiders, and I don't think they're going to be able to run consistently against them, and they're going to have to try to hit their backs coming out of the backfield on intermediate pass routes.
That was Bob Nelson, who came in on Woodley, and now you'll see Millen, the big lineman, basically, is what he was at Penn State. A little late getting back to Woody Bennett, but Millen, I'll tell you, is one of the finest linebackers in football today against the run.
Yeah, so is Bob Nelson. That's why they're going to have to take advantage of the size and lack of mobility of the Raiders' 2 inside backers and throw to their back.
3rd down and 3. Play action by Woodley, trying to get it on his own. He will not do so.
He went the wrong way. If you're going to run that play, don't run it against Ted Hendricks.
Exactly so.
Reaches out those long arms that extend from a 6'7" frame, and Woodley had no chance. It'll be 4th down, Miami.
They build up linebackers year in and year out, and certainly we've seen 2 great young ones in the past 2 years come up, in Lawrence Taylor and Hugh Green. But give me a guy who shows the kind of durability of Ted Hendricks before you attach greatness to a player.
Yeah.
We can mention a lot of them, but we don't want to forget Chip Banks either the other night.
That's right.
Roby now with the big foot. Greg Pruitt, a lot of respect, back at the 10-yard line. This time Roby really puts it up. Pruitt didn't even give it a second thought. He called for the fair catch while the ball was still rising at the 13-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will begin their possession with 10:03 remaining in the first half. This is Jim Plunkett, of course, looking on.
She's going through a lot, you know.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's tough to be the wife of a quarterback, isn't it?
Got to be proud of him now. This preseason, he really took a lot of heat here in L.A.
Jerry Plunkett is watch the ups and downs that go with the game of pro football. Marcus Allen over the right side gets about 3 yards out over the 15-yard line.
You saw something happen there. I saw they've had a couple of real problems on handoffs, and that time Plunkett was a little late getting there. As you can see, L.A. a little smoggy there, I think. Frank, just the way you remembered it, huh?
With a knife.
They call it fog out here.
There's the good old campus of USC right in your lower part of your screen coming in the picture right before we get to the Coliseum.
By the way, Baumhauer closed that hole quickly and effectively on that last rush.
2nd down and 3. Kenny King. And down goes Kenny King. Gain of a yard and a half, and the Dolphins are toughening up. Jim Bocamper, the former all-pro linebacker who now works as a defensive end, but still operates in many occasions as a linebacker.
They certainly are toughening up.
And with Bill Arnsberg on the sideline, you knew that they'd make some adjustment. Whatever they have to do, they do little things. You don't see them from up here, but they're effective down on the field, taking the one who's lost to the Dolphins as much as I have.
3rd down, passing situation for Plunkett, or it should be. Pressure again on Plunkett. He has to roll out. Wide open. Christensen, the tight end. And Christensen, who worked himself into an open area when he saw Plunkett in trouble, gets the Raider first down up at the 45-yard line.
And that's why Plunkett, despite days when he looks so poor to so many people, is really so good.
You see he's back. Here comes A.J. Dewey. Runs him out of the pocket. You know, Plunkett is he's got a lot of criticism. They say he can't run, but he's really a heck of an athlete. He runs 5 miles a day, 3 days after practice, and he was a 4-time high school wrestling champ.
Yet that play did show the tenacity and pursuit of A.J. Dewey, and Jim felt him there.
1st down and 10, 45-yard line. Hawkins in motion. This is Marcus Allen. Allen pecking and looking along the line of scrimmage. He'll get a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Well, you saw the problem that the Raiders had. They're not geared to run outside. Marcus really ran into one of his guards just then. He was just a little slow getting out there, and they're just not a good outside running football team. They picked up Don Hasselback, who I always felt when he was with New England was an excellent tight end for blocking. He blocks well on the outside, so I think once they activate him and get him in the game, he may assist them of getting outside a little better than they do now.
He is activated. We may see him tonight. In the meantime, Shelby Jordan will be activated tomorrow.
The 47-yard line, 1st down and 10, or rather 2nd down and 8, and Plunkett back under pressure again, and this time he will go down, and it's Doug Betters, and Doug Betters gets his 6th sack, I guess, of the season. He's leading the NFL.
Yeah, he's become amazing.
We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations along the line to identify themselves.
You're watching Channel 47, KJEO Fresno.
Betters gets the sack. Back close to the 40-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down now and 16 for Jim Plunkett. The Raiders moved up and down the field almost at will in the 1st quarter, and the first going here in the 2nd quarter. The Dolphins have begun to toughen. The Raiders on top, 7-0. Hawkins going in from 3 yards out. Plunkett again, pressure. And they blow the whistle dead once again as Plunkett dumps it off to Hawkins, but the sack will stand back inside 35-yard line. This time it was Bob Baumhauer. And the length of time the Raiders' offensive line was on the field, I think in the heat and the humidity of the evening is beginning to tell on them a little bit. Dolphins, of course, as we look at Mark Clayton, the rookie from Louisville, the Dolphins train in exactly this kind of weather down in Miami. Hot and humid.
Raiders may rue the fact that they couldn't get more points on the board while dominating the game the way Miami's coming along.
They had a 6-minute and 15-second drive, and they got nothing from it. Clayton. And Clayton is taken close to the 20-yard line. Otis McKinney and the Raiders are so good on their special teams. So Miami will begin at their own 20-yard line, following a 45-yard punt from Ray Guy, and we'll be back in just a moment. Gifford with Howard Cosell and O.J. Simpson, who worked his way to a Heisman Award in this very same field where we're watching the Dolphins against the Raiders tonight. One of these teams will not be undefeated in all probability when the night is over. The winner will join the Dallas Cowboys as the only other undefeated team after 3 weeks of NFL play in '83. On 1st and 10, Overstreet, left side, and finds a big opening. High steps it through and gets the first down out over the 30-yard line. McElroy made the stop for the Raiders.
Let me tell you, Overstreet almost broke that.
Well, that's why they brought him. They need that breakaway runner. Tony Nathan is a good back. He does a lot of good things. He averages, when he's healthy, over 5 yards a carry, but he can't do this. Look at the guy pick his way through and explode.
Yeah, that was good blocking out in front. They set up a little wedge, if you will, and he popped right through it, gets the first down, close to the 32-yard line. Kuchenberg out there. Newman was out there. That's the tight end, Dan Johnson. Been a very happy note for Don Shula in training camp. And Rod Martin takes David Overstreet.
And Ted Hendricks.
But Rod Martin's been doing it a long time. He's been voted defensive most valuable player by his Raider teammates. And, of course, this year, for the first time in 4 years, Ted Hendricks is not the defensive captain. His teammates chose Rod Martin as their defensive captain. So that shows the respect that they have of his play.
Rod Martin, been around a while. Raiders cut him, as a matter of fact, back in '77. Went to the 49ers. They cut him. Raiders picked him up again, and he's been a starter now for years. There was a loss of a yard. There was 2nd down and long for Woodley. Woodley, timing pass for Nat Moore, and Nat Moore comes down with it. Working behind Lester Hayes, whom we told you earlier has a very sore ankle, but that was thrown beautifully by Woodley. He just laid it up and let Nat Moore run under it.
They say just lay it up about 2 yards from the sideline. It's a play you see a lot on the goal line. And it's really not much of a pattern. That's taking advantage of that one-on-one coverage. There is almost no way to defend this pass, especially if you get beat at the line like that.
And especially if it's that well thrown.
Hendricks on the pass rush. This time they pick him up pretty good, but he still is right in the face of David Woodley, as he is giving Roy Foster a lesson tonight. 40-yard line is the first down. Overstreet, and Overstreet finds another little gap. Now the Miami Dolphins are asserting themselves offensively.
They really are. As I said, all that time, the Raiders had the ball. They're going to rue the fact they didn't capitalize more than they did. Just one score.
3:32 remaining in the first half. Raiders still on top, 7-0. A good defensive battle. It's kind of nice to see it. We've been watching a lot of people move up and down the football field in the 4 games that we've done in the past 2 weeks. We've got 2 tough defensive teams playing here tonight. Franklin breaks to the outside. He'll get the first down and much more as Franklin barrels inside the 25 to the 22-yard line. First down, Miami. McElroy again on the stop.
You saw a great all-pro, Bob Kuchenberg, come out and put a great block on another great all-pro, Ted Hendricks. This looked like the Green Bay sweep. Number 67 on the right side of your screen, you see him comes out and just takes Hendricks right out of the play. Beautiful block by a 15-year pro.
He really is. He's been around. He's been at the Pro Bowl as a guard and a tackle, and he still gets it done.
That was 13 years of NFL experience going up against one another. 30 years.
22-yard line. First down, the Dolphins trailing by 7. Inside 3 minutes as Franklin is pounded at the 20-yard line. He'll gain about a yard and a half.
That, of course, was Matt Millen, whom we've talked about, right in there, together with Martin. What a fast half. We're coming to the 2-minute warning.
Both teams with 3 timeouts. Franklin will move to the sideline, and we will not have another play before the 2-minute warning. And there it is. 2 minutes remaining to be played in the first half, in the half that really was all the Raiders in the early going, and now the situation is changing. The Dolphins taking control. We'll be back to see if they can get in. The Dolphin drive began at their own 20-yard line. They have moved to the 20-yard line now of the Raiders. A 2nd down and 8. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. The Dolphins have 3 timeouts. The sun slowly winks out of sight over Santa Monica, I believe that is.
Yeah. Head for a wide.
Second down and 8. Big play on this drive. The pass, David Woodley to Matt Moore to pick up 21 yards. Franklin and Overstreet remain the setbacks for Miami. Brother Woody Bennett is in there now. Woodley looking for a receiver, and he fires, and Lester Hayes is there. It's Matt Moore who says that he was pushed out of bounds by Lester Hayes, which might have been the case, nevertheless ruled incomplete.
As you can see, Nat is coming back for the ball. Actually, Lester was in bounds when he kicked him out here.
Yeah, he had reason to complain.
Oh, he looks like he got his toes down to me.
He didn't need his toes down if Hayes pushes him out.
That's correct. And Moore, you know, you can't ever second-guess Don Shula, but Moore was such a great receiver. I can understand his resentment when he was benched for Jimmy Sepulveda, who, of course, is a fine player and younger.
At a third down and 8, and a little bit of confusion on the part of the Dolphins as we move to the shotgun. Dwight Stevenson moves to guard. Dennard is the snapper. That one batted into the air, and a flag is down, and we could have another holding call against Miami. As Roy Foster, once again working against Ted Hendricks, was being pushed right back into the face. Actually, it was Foster against Townsend. And Townsend had taken Foster right back into the face of Woodley.
Let's look at that reception again that was called out of bounds.
He's clearly in the air when Lester Hayes hits him. And as you say, it's immaterial if his toes got down or not. That looks like a good reception.
Fourth down.
Looks like they declined the penalty and forced them to go for the field goal.
That will bring out Uwe von Schaumann. And von Schaumann has had 6 consecutive field goals thus far this season. He is 11 straight going back to last year. 15 of 20 a year ago. John Stott, who signed his contract September the 5th, will do the holding on a 37-yard effort by von Schaumann. Good decision on the part of the Raiders as von Schaumann misses for the first time in 12 attempts.
That's a rare thing. You'll remember Uwe von Schaumann's greatest field goal ever with just a couple of seconds left is Oklahoma, where he beat Ohio State.
So it remains 7-0, and we'll be back with more action. But right now, this message from the National Football League. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The preceding announcement was brought to you by the Dolphins in Blackwood and, of course, the National Football League. The Raiders on top 7-0. They scored in the first quarter, a 3-yard touchdown by Hawkins. First down and 10. They move from their own 20-yard line, and this is Marcus Allen doing his thing as he ambles out for a first down near the 35-yard line.
Well on his way to 100 yards and more for the night. A remarkable ball player. Well, 66 yards already, Juice.
Yeah, they did an interesting thing. He was running the ball real well early in the game. They went right down the field. He coughed it up, and he didn't see the ball for almost a quarter, you know?
Raiders have called timeout. They have 2 remaining. Let's take a look at some action from yesterday.
All right. San Francisco at St. Louis, 49ers first series, first quarter. Watch Joe Montana out of Notre Dame. He's got a great arm. He's back in Super Bowl form of 2 years ago. The heave to Freddie Solomon, number 88, touchdown, 69 yards, 7-zip Niners. Second quarter, the score 14-7. Neil Lomax from the shotgun. Pass intercepted by Dwight Hicks. We've told you about that great Niners secondary. Hicks, one of the great 4. And bang, in for the score. The Niners 42, the Cardinals 27.
First down and 10. Plunkett fires incomplete. Over the middle, looking out there to Cliff Branch. And it'll bring up third down and 10. Raiders stopping the clock with the incompletion with 1:30 remaining in the half. They have 2 timeouts remaining. The Dolphins have 3.
Actually, at 2nd and 10, Marcus made a real nice run to play before that and got the first down. This is where the Raiders really need to get something going now. They had 2 good drives. They should have had more than 7 points. they can go ahead at least 10-0. I think they'll feel comfortable coming out up 10-0. I guess anybody would, but the Raiders with their defense will feel particularly comfortable.
They go with 3 wide receivers. Calvin Muhammad is in there. One setback, and Beaucamper spins off Plunkett. Plunkett gets it somehow to Christensen, and he gets the first down.
That was incredible.
47-yard line. A great effort by Plunkett to get away from Beaucamper, and then a remarkable catch by Todd Christensen, literally in the arms of a Miami defender, and quickly the Raiders stop the clock with 1:15 remaining in the half. That's Beaucamper missing. And somehow Christensen came away with it. And he just continues to get better. They moved him, that tight end, 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, rather, and he had a spectacular season a year ago. So we have timeout here at the Coliseum, 1:15 remaining in the half. And again, a reminder, college football on Saturday, right here on ABC, 12 o'clock Eastern Time. West Virginia against Boston College. A pair of really good quarterbacks in that one. Hofstetler leading the Mountaineers against Doug Flutie, little guy up at Boston College, but he's had a remarkable career. We'll have Illinois against Michigan State. Michigan State coming off their upset victory over Notre Dame. Texas Tech goes against Baylor. Virginia against North Carolina State. Tennessee State against Florida A&M. College football at its finest here on ABC. Consult your listing for the game in your area.
I'm glad you mentioned Doug Flutie of Boston College, one of the most remarkable athletes around. A reminder of Davey O'Brien and Eddie LeBaron, both of whom go back to your time, Giff.
Well, they were a little ahead of me. Hope he's all right. He had a little concussion last Saturday. The Raiders have one timeout, 1:15 in the half. They have a 7-0 lead. The ball inside the 47-yard line of the Dolphins. Dolphins' only serious bet was a missed 37-yard field goal by Von Schaman. Flag is down. That should draw a hold against the Raiders. Usually when your quarterback is rambling around back there, the angles change for the blocking offensive linemen, and as they feel the pressure release, they can't help but grab. And it is against the Raiders.
But it's interesting he threw that ball to Todd Christensen. You know, a few weeks ago we were talking about Joe Montana. Whenever he gets in trouble, he looks for Dwight Clark. This is 3 times tonight we've seen Plunkett in a lot of trouble, and he came out throwing the ball to Todd Christensen.
There's the mark-off.
And the time he got away from Beaucamper.
Illegal block. Number 79 of the offense. Still first down.
The time he got away from Beaucamper, he really rifled the ball to Christensen.
That's Bruce Davis working against 58 Beaucamper.
There's about 40 pounds on Beaucamper. What's an illegal block?
I guess shoving him out of the peristyle end of the Coliseum.
Yeah, from the back. I guess that could be deemed illegal.
44-yard line, the loss all the way back. That's the time remaining in the half. On first down and 20, Plunkett back again. Screen to Marcus Allen with no man in front of it. He was just a checkoff man. It was not a set screen, but he gets back close to the 46-yard line where it will be third down and again long for Plunkett.
They're going to have to get in close for Chris Barr. He doesn't register for distance, as we've told you.
Actually used to. He topped the AFC a couple of years, but he just doesn't have that distance anymore. There's Lester Hayes.
Lester the molester.
What, did he have a year in 1980? Double-digit interceptions.
Lester had that speech impediment. He got better, and he stopped working on it, and he's almost back the way he was a couple of years ago.
Second down and 9. Christensen has the first down. Hook slides down close to the 30-yard line.
Now you viewers can understand while Plunkett may not be the most graceful quarterback in football, he makes the big plays.
Hurry-up offense for the Raiders. They have one timeout remaining. Inside 40 seconds remaining in the half. Plunkett and his intended receiver, Cliff Branch, slipped, and he was overthrown.
Notice they now have other receivers, though, during the course of a game that they go to more than Cliff Branch. Where Cliff was once the key receiver, that's no longer true.
Calvin Muhammad is in there, working with Malcolm Barnwell and Cliff Branch. All great speed. They have 4 wide receivers that all will make a great relay team because they've all run 9.400s. Cliff Branch having run a 9.300. earlier in his career. Second down and 9. Plunket, Cliff Branch, first down inside the 15-yard line in the arms of William Judson. One timeout now remaining, and Plunket will use it. And he'll move over. Decision time for Tom Flores. More action from yesterday.
Okay, Atlanta against Detroit. Second quarter, 3-0 Atlanta. Bartkowski back, throwing deep for Alfred Jackson. And he goes in for the touchdown, 10-0 Atlanta. The next Falcon series, Bartkowski again looking for 86, the tight end, Ben Young, and hitting him for 11 yards, touchdown, 17-0 Atlanta. And in the next Falcon series, Bartkowski finds again Alfred Jackson, makes a spectacular catch. Watch it right there. And a touchdown, and Atlanta breezed to a 30-14 victory over the Lions.
Throughout most of this second half, Jim Plunkett has been under tremendous pressure. He's moved out of the pocket well. He's 9 of 12, 136 yards. And the biggest completion a moment ago to Cliff Branch to get inside the 15-yard line. 18 seconds on the clock. The Raiders on top, 7-0. They have no more timeouts. And we could look for Plunkett to be very careful with it. He might try to go into the end zone looking for the touch, but he'll be very careful to avoid the interception. They'd like to add to their 7 points. Beaucamper on the pressure. And Cliff Branch was there. Plunkett saw that he was covered. Out of the end zone, incomplete.
Interesting. 3 times in a row, he went to Cliff. He caught him with the big one for the first down. That gives him field goal position. But time still for another shot at this TD.
I think the thing they better look out for is A.J. Dewey. They get in there and sack them. They won't have time to get the field goal team on the field or run a play to throw the ball out of bounds and stop the clock.
All that's going through Plunkett's head, though, I'm quite sure. He feels the pressure. He's going to get rid of it. Avoid the interception. Killing the clock. Just to make sure. Todd Christensen.
That Christensen's having some night, and so is that man, the quarterback, Jim Plunkett.
Somehow Christensen got single coverage with William Judson, and it was history. He was wide open, and Plunkett was right on target.
Let's take a look at it from the end zone. You look on the left side of your screen, you'll see Christensen. He looked like he just ran a banana pattern almost. You know, he just bowed out and bowed right over the middle, and Plunkett looked for him, his favorite receiver, and put the ball right on the money.
Dolphins have their work cut out for them.
You have to give Plunkett credit. In the preseason, not only was the press on his case, all his teammates were thinking that Mr. Wilson should have been the quarterback, and since the season started, I don't think I've ever seen him play 3 better games.
Here's Chris Barr.
And has he been having problems?
Chris Barr, I said earlier, he's put the thrill back in the conversion. That could be a very significant missed conversion.
Certainly.
Instead of leading 14-0, we have a 13-0 lead with 9 seconds remaining in the first half. And there's Todd Christensen, we told you earlier. Came up a second-round draft pick with the Dallas Cowboys. They kept him around for quite a while. They had a bunch of good running backs. They let him go. The Giants took a look at the Brigham Young youngster. Raiders picked him up and made a gradual conversion to a tight end, and he's one of the finest around now.
He's got to be feeling pretty good. It's no secret the Raiders were pretty high on Derek Ramsey. They really didn't want to lose him, but to get Shelby Jordan, they felt it was worth it, and Christensen may be feeling a little secure now that the job's his, and he's certainly showing that he rates it.
He's having a terrific night.
9 seconds remaining in the half. Well, no one scored a whole lot of them. The Raiders haven't scored a lot either. Dolphins have been strange. They're 2-0 record coming into this. They beat Buffalo 12-0. They had little or no offense. Woodley throwing for 26 yards. And then last Sunday, a week ago last Sunday, they beat New England with a tremendous offensive showing, 34-24. And they've played 2 distinctly different games coming into the night. Chris Barr drills it along the ground to Fulton Walker. Walker really smacked at the 20-yard line, forward. Time for one play for the Dolphins. Kickers, they live a strange life. There could be no more exhilarating moments than kicking a winning field goal, and there can be nothing lower than missing one.
Well, you say they live a strange life. I think that could be because majority of them are sort of strange. You know, if you ask the players around the league, we had a few kickers in Buffalo. The pay pittance for being late for practice or late for a team meeting. The coaches used to threaten having them room with the kickers on the road games.
I forget who the kicker was. Said it retired. Said I'd still be kicking if the passport control laws were a little stronger. On 1st and 10, a clock killer for the Miami Dolphins as Andre Franklin picks up 3 or 4 yards. Time expiring. And we have a 13-0 lead on the part of the Raiders over the Dolphins. Of course, we'll have our halftime highlights after this message and a word from our local station, your first half hero, Todd Christensen. Back live at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. That's the moon, as it looks, is hovering over the Coliseum in L.A. We'll be ready for second half action coming up very shortly. The Raiders on top of the Dolphins, 13-0. We'll be back in just a moment. Played stickball in Brooklyn. And who played at the L.A. Coliseum? Saturday, coming up here on ABC, we, of course, have NCAA college football regional coverage. So check the listing for the game in your area. Then we'll have the North American Boxing Championship, 4 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Pacific. Boxers from 7 North American countries participating. Champions crowned in 12 Olympic weight classes, as well as a team title. The tournament will serve as a qualifying event for the North American team for the upcoming World Cup Boxing Championships. And ABC's Wide World of Sports, 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central. The WBA World Junior Welterweight Championship, Aaron Pryor against Alexis Arguello. The great 3-time world champion Arguello in his last fight. The conclusive rematch of their 1982 Fight of the Year. And then we'll have a live report, if they're sailing that is, on the America's Cup. And America's Liberty leading Australia 2 races to 1 at the moment. And we'll also have the U.S. Weightlifting Championships from Seekonk, Massachusetts. All here on ABC. Coming up Saturday, beginning with NCAA college football, 12 o'clock Eastern Time. The numbers for our quarterbacks thus far. And, of course, a big touchdown coming right at the end of the half after an interception by Jim Davis of the Raiders. It was Plunkett to Todd Christensen to make it 13-0. Bolton Walker is deep, awaiting the kick of the Raiders. Chris Barr. Walker, he'll bring this one out from 3 yards deep. And he's met right at the 15-yard line. Down he goes, hustling there for the Raiders. It was Derek Jensen and Dokie Williams getting down. Dokie Williams played his college football right here for UCLA.
All right, the first quarter stats, Gipper. As you can see, the Raiders dominating right down the line and exclusively almost controlling the football. And the domination was lessened in the second quarter, but still the Raiders playing it very, very tough. The action now in ZGFX.
At the 15-yard line, the lineup remains the same for Miami. Woodley, the quarterback. Nathan, 22. Andre Franklin, setbacks. Duriel Harris, 82. Nat Moore, 89. That's Moore in motion on first down. Franklin, right side. Ted Hendricks fights off the block of Bob Kuchenberg. Actually, Franklin did not help Kuchenberg. He got right up on the back side of Kuchenberg, and Hendricks just played it straight away.
Well, there's Hendricks when he was that's when he was a quarterback.
That's when he was a man.
Lyle Alzado, who originated from Brooklyn, went to East Rockaway, and then to Yankton. And Alzado appears to be forever. He's playing like a man possessed as a Raider.
He was leading in sacks coming in tonight. Now in his 13th year, Lyle Alzado, former boxer who took on Muhammad Ali. I know you recall that, Howard. Something like that. Second down, 13. It was a loss of 3. Woodley fires complete, goes out into the flat, and he looks out there and finds Nat Moore, who cuts the pickup short of the first down near the 23-yard line.
You know, you talk about Lyle Alzado. He's another one of those cases. But Al Davis, he likes to go out and he gets these all-pros, these guys he's liked them throughout their careers, and they're just about at the end of their career, and he brings them in and to show the young guys how to play. He has a young offensive line, defensive line, and he's done it in the past with Cedric Hartman and Bubba Smith and Pat Toomey, and he brought Lyle in thinking Lyle may have another year left in him, and Lyle has turned out to be a little better than he thought.
He's great at reclamation projects, Al Davis. Give him his due in that regard. Matuzak, maybe the best evidence of all.
Yeah, third down, 4, shotgun for Miami. They're down 13-0. Opening moments of the third quarter. Woodley in and out of the hands of an ordinarily fine receiver. Joe Rose had a little speed on it, and Rose couldn't handle it. It'll be fourth down, and Miami will have to punt on their first possession. They bring in Reggie Roby, a spectacular rookie from Iowa, a 6th-round draft pick, and Greg Pruitt, the veteran, drops deep, respecting Roby.
Not a good omen for Miami. What they wanted to do is get a drive started quickly in the second half.
Well, I think if they're going to do that, they got to start throwing that short pass over the middle and take advantage of Matt Millen and Bob Nelson's inability to cover in there.
He backed Pruitt all the way to the 20-yard line, and the ball hung up there for seemingly 4 or 5 seconds. Flag is down as Pruitt navigates his way back over the 30-yard line. That was a 58-yard punt by Reggie Roby.
He is huge.
He gets it down. He speeds it up a little bit. He had to hurry one a week ago and sliced off the side of his foot. He had 1 yard, but he averaged 43 on the day.
Roby's a great draft choice. Kickers, so important in the draft.
Yeah, it's funny, those kickers, when they miss a field goal or shank one of those punts.
Illegal block during the run back. Number 40 of the receivers. It's 1st and 10.
Rick Burns of the Raiders.
They normally get a little, the other guys start trying to intimidate them a little, and some of those defensive linemen and linebackers who are generally the most vocal will try to get aggressive with them at times, but Mr. Roby weighs 243 pounds. I think he can take care of himself.
I think the Giants' most effective draft choice was number 9, their place kicker, Ali Haji.
First down and 10 at the 20-yard line of the Raiders. Marcus Allen, and Allen somehow exploits a little bit of an opening for a big gain, a 7-yard pickup out near the 28-yard line.
You believe the way he got through there, Giff?
He does accelerate. I don't think, O.J., that he has, I don't want to put you on the spot, but he doesn't have that 9.3, 9.4 speed that you guys have had, but he does so much with what he has.
Yeah, and he's not that slow now. He just doesn't have the blazing speed, but his balance is what does it. And he has good eyes. He sees the whole field and he reacts well.
Give him 8 yards as they mark it just inside the 29. It's 2nd down and 2 for the Raiders. Kenny King hustling, and I think he'll be short of the first down as they're going to mark progress just over the 30-yard line. Kenny King, of course, acquired 4 years ago from Houston. He had carried the ball 3 times for Houston in '79. They traded for him, as the Raiders generally do. And they brought him in. He gained 760 yards the next year. Had a spectacular debut against San Diego, I recall. 3rd and 1. Marcus Allen, short yardage man, Frank Hawkins is in there. Allen, however, gets the number. He'll get the first down, and somebody gets a flag.
This is a big call on which way this goes.
That came in there like it even could have been a face mask. I didn't quite see all of the activities.
I say normally for holding, and it's
holding, and they'll back up the Raiders.
Big call. Means Raiders can't control the ball. Can't get a march underway.
And they'll be put into the passing situation now deep in their own territory.
Be interesting to see how they play Christensen now. You know, will they double him up or try to keep
holding
him
during the run. Number 87 of the offense. Still 3rd down.
Don Hasselbeck in there on the short yardage play, recently acquired from New England. I would say he's holding.
Well,
arm wrestling.
Not much you can do when they get the arm in there.
Got a full arm lock on him. 3rd down now at 11, facing Plunkett. Camper got back, no flag. And Plunkett will go down, sacked at the 10-yard line, and that'll bring up 4th down. And now Miami Miami should have an opportunity to get good field position.
Opportunity certainly beckons.
Yeah.
Look at this ISO on A.J.
Yeah, but look at number 75. Yes, Better's in there. He just ran over his man. Actually, he didn't run over the man. Henry Lawrence, Mickey Marvin just pulled him down. You know, he went right over the top of him, put that pressure up the middle that gave Dewey a chance to make the play.
Raiders need a big kick from Guy.
There's Mark Clayton. Guy will be kicking from the end zone. Clayton for the Dolphins is up at his own 42-yard line.
I expect Clayton sooner or later to make a big play. He looks like he's going to be a super player to me.
Guy hits a beauty. Stays up there a long time. Clayton hesitated for a moment, realized he had to go for the fair catch. Beautiful kick by Guy. 51 yards, but a good hang time. Clayton forced to make the fair catch without the return at the 38-yard line. But good field position for Miami. They trail 13-0. Remaining in the third quarter, 51-yard effort by Ray Guy has given the football to the Miami Dolphins. First and 10 at their own 38-yard line. Both teams undefeated into tonight's play. Woodley looks at the 3-4 of the Raider defense that can turn into most anything. Woodley gets the ball out to Dan Johnson. His third reception in his NFL career. There'll be a gain of about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7.
As A.J. seems he never has a bad game. Just a question of achieving greatness and sustaining it with him. That was a dangerous throw. Do you know that with the coverage that was there, Gibb?
It's sort of a slip-off on the part of Dan Johnson. Woodley hung it out there, and that pass could have been picked off.
I would try to look for more things quick over the middle or in those cooking zones to take advantage of Millen and Bob Nelson's lack of quickness.
2nd down 7 for the Dolphins. Play action by Woodley. Fires it complete. Going out to Duriel Harris, and Duriel Harris has the first down. He's inside the 43-yard line of the Raiders. Duriel Harris doesn't have that great speed, but one of the most fluid receivers you'll ever watch. There's the play action. Woodley trying to hold a linebacker, getting Harris behind him, and fires right in front of the corner man, Ted Watts. But he makes those great moves, and he has tremendous hands. And he has got to take up the slack this season for the Dolphins with the loss of Jimmy Cefalo and Tommy Vigorito. Both have been gone for the season. Maybe in the opening game of the season. On first down, Franklin, left side, and Franklin pursued and taken by Bob Nelson right at the line of scrimmage. He might have got a yard out of it.
I agree with you that Nelson and Millen don't have the great speed, but they are, this is a very effective linebacking core.
Let me tell you, they're football players. Bob Nelson, he was originally drafted by the Buffalo Bills. They said he had slow feet. He was cut by the Raiders. He was cut by the 49ers, and Al Davis said he was a football player, and he is a football player. He gets a chance to hit you, he'll tear you up. At Buffalo, we weren't playing a 3-4 at the time, and he wasn't that effective with 3 linebackers. But with 4 linebackers, he has less responsibility, and he's physical, and that's what the Raiders want. Good point.
Woody Bennett now in the backfield, and the motion man is Mark Clayton. Clayton, that's a lateral. And Mark Clayton, the rookie out of Louisville, instantly realized that that could have been Clayton throwing the ball deep, because there was a deep man downfield, Duriel Harris, but you have to catch it before you can throw it. So long yardage again for David Woodley. It'll be 3rd down, and they'll mark it back now near the 44-yard line. Call it 3rd down and 12.
This Miami offense reminds me of their offense during the Super Bowl. They just didn't seem like they could establish anything, or they knew what to do. I don't know if it's Woodley or what, but there's just some spark in this.
Close to the 45, so 3rd down, 13. Shotgun for Woodley. Woodley trying to get out with a timing pass to Mark Clayton. Mike Davis, good coverage, incomplete. 4th down. Miami will have to turn over once again.
Another dangerous throw, Frank, because had Mike Davis picked that off, bang, bang.
It's almost like a fight now. It seems as if Oakland has measured them, you know. third or fourth round. Looks like they got him just about measured now.
An interesting statement. Yes, you're right.
There's Reggie Robbie. His last for the 58-yard punt. This time I presume he'll be looking for a corner or to kick it very high and get the coverage down under. He chooses the high route, and he has really put it up in the air. And bobble at the 10, but covered quickly. Greg Pruitt lost the ball at the 9. Recovers out over the 10-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for the Raiders. They're deep in their own territory. We'll be back at the Coliseum in just a moment.
All right, Major League Baseball, the National League. Phils lead Bucks by 2. Mets got 2 in the bottom of the 9th to tie. Went on to win. What a victory over the Bucks. Phils beat the Cubs. Forget about the defending champion, St. Louis Cardinals. Houston leading Los Angeles and San Diego leading San Francisco. L.A. doesn't want the penalty.
From the 11-yard line at first and 10, Marcus Allen surging ahead. A flag is down, as you can see. Allen is surging behind that big offensive line, gets out to the 15, but the Raiders once again called for holding.
All right, the American League. Look at the Birds tied in the 10th. Boston beat Guidry. Rice had a homer. Minnesota and the White Sox off by themselves, having clinched, tied in the 7th. Kansas City beat California, trailing in the 2nd game. Seattle defeated Toronto.
Number 50 of the offense, first down.
Dave Dalby at center, holding for the Raiders. They move it back to the 5-yard line. First down and 15.
They're deep into penalties now, the Raiders.
Don Hasselbeck come in at tight end for the Raiders, and here comes Kenny King. Trying to turn the corner. Doesn't quite make it as one of the Blackwoods, Lyle, comes up, makes the defensive play.
But gives them a little bit of breathing room.
Well, you know, the Raiders are historically a highly penalized team. Generally, their penalties are more of the aggression type, you know, roughing the passer and stuff. Strangely enough, this year, the first 2 games against Cincinnati and Houston, both of those teams were penalized more than the Raiders.
Yeah, they penalized Cincinnati, everyone but Paul Brown on that one. They really had a tough time against the Raiders. The Raiders winning that game over Cincinnati 20-10. Kenny King got 6. It'll be second down at 9. The ball just inside the 12-yard line. Here's Marcus Allen. We're stringing this one out. And Allen will get a couple of yards up close to the 14-yard line. Bob Brzezinski, tough against the run. Defensively, they're first for the Dolphins.
They don't want to risk throwing the football and intercept. Not when you got Ray Guy. He can get off another kick like the last one. I'm assuming they won't throw on this 3rd down.
And they have a 13-0 lead with 8:19 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
They've won too many football games not to go for it. I think they'll throw and go for it.
Barnwell and Branch, the speedsters, bottom of your screen. Branch is in the slot.
The first,
and now the Raiders must punt.
You like my call, Sweet? Oh, I just saw her shake her head.
What a pretty child.
He wanted to go be home playing, I think.
He's wondering what's going on. What are those guys out there in the black doing, beating up those guys out there in the white?
Well, here's Ray Guy once again, this time not in the end zone, but he's right close to it. And Mark Clayton, the 8th-round draft pick out of Louisville, is back at the 40-yard line of Miami. Let's look at it wide because the Dolphins came close to getting the guy the last time. And they came close once again, and Guy drills another beauty. It takes Clayton back to the 28. Here he comes. Ooh, what a hit. And he's met at the 35-yard line. First man there, Otis McKinney once again. So Miami, as the game has turned into a defensive battle, will have a 1st and 10. The ball near their own 35-yard line. 45 effort, Guy. Ray Guy has hammered the Raiders out of deep in their own territory once again. The Dolphins, first down 10, the ball inside their 36-yard line. And David Woodley remains the quarterback. Should Don Shula necessarily make a change or decide to make a change, we think it would be Marino. Waiting under pressure, great athletic ability. And he's going to get yardage when he could well have been sacked. 4-yard pickup by Woodley under deep pressure. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
You're watching Channel 47, KJEO Fresno.
That's the extra dimension you get with a David Woodley, where Don Strock, the quarterback at that point, or Dan Marino, probably, they, in all probability, would have been sacked. And that's what Woodley, with a good athletic skill that he has, got out of there and made 4 yards out of it.
And that's what Plunkett isn't given enough credit for. The difference in this game tonight is Plunkett's been able to avoid the rush and get the balls off successfully, where Woodley's been forced to run when he scrambles.
Second down and 6. The ball resting just over the 40-yard line. Woody Bennett piling into the left side, getting a couple of yards. It'll be third down and a long 3 now for the Dolphins.
Can't kick about this game because these are two tough, solid football teams. And while there has not been any spectacular scoring, the big plays have been made by the Raiders. And somehow they put a team together, the Silver and Black does, every year that is always up there, richly competitive and very tough.
Third down, again, a long 3, closer to 4 in fact. Just at the 42-yard line of the Dolphins. Out of the shotgun. Woodley again under pressure, going to Rose. And Joe Rose, the tight end they go to in the must-pass situation, gets the first down inside the 40-yard line of the Raiders. And a very cool effort on the part of David Woodley.
Might be the biggest play for them so far tonight. Keeps the drive going.
See, Rose does a good job on Davis. He just ran a simple flag pattern, and Davis got a little off balance.
Davis got a speed tank.
Yeah, the offensive line is keeping the Raiders out of there. Hendricks, or rather, that was Townsend a little late. He could have drawn a flag, but he didn't. But they are pushing the offensive line right back into Woodley. Good completion. Good combination. Woodley and Rose. First down 10. David Overstreet upended. Pickup of about 1.
Well, on that last replay, you saw something that the Raiders have been doing very successfully this year. There's their leader on defense, their defensive captain, Martin. Even when they don't get the sack, they're hitting the quarterback. And even though the quarterback gets the ball off, if you hit him enough times, you're going to force him to rush the ball a few times.
Which is why the Juice never tried to play quarterback.
It's my arm, Howard.
Big blitz down now for the Raiders, although they have their 4 down linemen in. They stay with their 3-4. Second down long, second down and 9. Woodley has the time and jumps it off Overstreet with a juggling act, and he couldn't come up with it. It'll be third down and 9. Bob Nelson was there to make sure that Overstreet was not going to handle it.
It's a simple little loop over the middle by the running back coming out of the backfield. This is the kind of stuff I think they're going to have to do if they're going to start moving the ball consistently.
That's the key.
If he caught it clean, he would have had a little time as quick as he is to put a move on Bob. But
nevertheless, they verified your key point that you've been making all game. The way to attack them is with that short stuff in the area of Millen and Nelson because of their absence of foot speed.
Sure ain't going to get much success running in there because those guys could play the run.
Third down and 9. Miami from the tee, not the shotgun. That's Rose in motion. Bootleg by Woodley.
Good call.
And Woodley has the first down, up in it inside the 25-yard line. This time the bootleg working.
Great call.
Everyone going with the flow of the backfield to the left, and Woodley coming out with a blocker in front of him. It was Foster, and he gets the first.
You can see everybody have their keys on guards and fullbacks and halfbacks, and they go with them. And the quarterback comes out with Roy Foster. He makes a good block, and Woodley does a good job of running.
He does. That's what he's best at. Gutsy call, too. Great call.
Basically what he was at LSU when they got him in the 8th round back in 1980. He shared the quarterbacking duties. First down at 10, 25-yard line. Miami still has not been able to get on the scoreboard. They trail 13-0. Late minutes of the 3rd quarter as we watch David Overstreet. Rod Martin defensively again, but Overstreet gets inside the 20 for a pickup of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
That Matt Millen is always in the action. You know, he's really a down lineman. It could be a down lineman. He went in there and took on all the interference and stripped the ball carrier of the interference, and Rod Martin came up and made the play.
I tell you, that Overstreet's an interesting fellow to watch. He gives the look of a player who might at any time explode. Remember earlier in the game, in the first half, he almost broke one. He gained about 11 yards. He had one man to get by. He shows flashes. Let's put it that way.
I think he's in the game because they need one of those flashes.
2nd and 5, and Franklin is nailed. Hit hard. Reggie Kinlaw, nose tackle, playing off Dwight Stevenson. Big play on the part of Reggie Kinlaw.
I don't think Shula feels right now that this team can move the ball consistently and get it in the end zone on the Raiders. The Raiders are just too tough defensively right now. He needs a guy like Overstreet to come in and break one, and I think that's why you're seeing Overstreet play so much.
2 years ago, by the way, Juice, the Raiders had a poor and unrepresentative for them season. One of the reasons, Kinlaw out.
3rd down and 6. There was a loss of 2. Shotgun. And down goes Woodley. Gave up the football. It was Rod Martin on the blitz. The play still moving. Goodbye. And Greg Townsend, a rookie from TCU, picks up the fumble. Down the field he goes, but credit that. Certainly an assist to Rod Martin. Fought through a block, got to Woodley, knocked the ball loose. 64-yard touchdown for the Raiders.
This is one tough football team. And we've told you all night about Rob Martin.
Probably their best linebacker. He's been voted the captain by the team. He's been voted MVP of the defense 2 of the last 4 years. He stripped the ball. Mr. Townsend, who deserves this touchdown. Look at him run. This is a defensive lineman. You're looking at, watch Rod Martin behind him. If you can see him, he made one great block for him, even though it was unnecessary. It was behind the runner.
We also told you about Townsend and Pickell. 2 rookies
With
making it big.
A startling development. The Raiders already on top, 13-0. 64-yard fumble return. Great effort by Rod Martin and Greg Townsend. Chris Barr. This time he hammers it through. And the Raiders have a 20-0 lead. 1:12 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And the rookie, Greg Townsend from TCU, gets his first professional touchdown. Greg Townsend got the touchdown. A great assist to Rod Martin, who's been all over the field tonight. But you're going to be hearing the name Townsend for many years to come, we have a feeling. There's Fulton Walker. Chris Barr puts it up high. Walker will have an opportunity from the 1-yard line. He can do is get it back to the 15 as the Raiders are really steamed up now. Again, college football, 12 o'clock Eastern time this Saturday right here on ABC. West Virginia against Boston College. Illinois against Michigan State. Michigan State with that upset victory over Notre Dame on Saturday. Texas Tech against Baylor. Virginia against North Carolina State. Tennessee State against Florida A&M. So check the local listing for the game you're going to watch in your area, college football at its very best right here on ABC, beginning at noon this Saturday.
I'm not so sure the Spartans' victory over the Irish was an upset.
Well, perhaps you're right. First down and 10, 15-yard line, Miami. Overstreet on the screen, and Overstreet carries a Raider, Archie Reese, for a yardage up close to the 20-yard line.
I said that, Frank, because you know who's coaching the Spartans, George Perlis, who through the years was so valuable to Chuck Noll. He's going to be a great coach, head coach.
He was the one that went to the USFL for about 5 minutes and then on to Michigan State. He was a great coach. That is, obviously.
Big Lyle Alzado. Feeling like a kid again.
Overstreet got 5. His second down and 5. The ball at the 20-yard line of the Miami Dolphins. Time running out here in the third quarter. Time running out of the Dolphins as Woodley puts it down, takes off, and he went down, I think, maybe short of the first down.
He did.
Hendricks was looming awfully large in front of him. I think he could have squeezed out another foot.
Well, when Hendricks moon out in front of you,
He might have got it, but if he did it by inches.
you go down.
Feel that smoke coming out of those nostrils. That'll put you into hook slide really quickly. That's good judgment on the part of David Woodley.
Don Shula, you know, his teams have always been ball-controlled teams. They like to run a lot of stuff inside with their linemen, traps and stuff, and they're really not suited like a lot of teams, the 49ers San Diego, to overcome a lead like this.
That is the end of the third quarter. The Raiders on top 20-0 over the Miami Dolphins. Teams now will change ends of the field, and we'll return for fourth quarter action after this word from our local stations. The Miami Dolphins have a big job in front of them. When you get behind the Raiders, they put you in a passing situation. And such is the case at the moment with the Dolphins down 20-0 as we begin the fourth quarter. They come out of the ground. They blitz everyone except head coach Tom Flores, and they know that Woodley has got to put the ball in the air. And fired, incomplete. Tended there for Durrell Harris.
Right into Lester Hayes' hands, but his vision was intercepted by the would-be receiver, otherwise banked.
Sometimes the Raiders give the appearance of being a little bit disorganized on defense, but they know what they're doing. They really turn Ted Hendricks loose in a lot of situations. It puts a big burden on Matt Millen and Bob Nelson. They have to play totally run, while Rod Martin has to be flexible, take up the slack, and they do shoot Hendricks. That's Hendricks top of your screen. He's coming. Second down and 10. And Hendricks got there late, but he really pounded Woodley. Incomplete. We could have a pass interference call. Flag is down. Nat Moore dueling Ted Watts, and Nat Moore is saying, I didn't do it, and they're pointing the finger at Nat Moore.
Well, the ball was underthrown again, and Nat had to try to do something.
There's another flag down at the line of scrimmage.
I was surprised to see Willie get up that time. He was really tagged by Big Howie Long. I mean, he just lowered the boom on him.
And they've sorted it out. Here's Red Cashin.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 89 on the defense. Pass interference by the offense. Offset to a replay straight out.
Well, we don't have an 89, so apparently the official picked up the wrong number. This is Woodley. He really gets hammered. Howie Long catches him right in the back. Here's Nat Moore.
Well, if he called it on 89, he called it on Nat Moore.
Well, they called it on the Raiders 89, and they don't have one. In any event, we have a second down and 10, the ball at the 25-yard line. Early moments of the fourth quarter from Los Angeles. Dolphins will go from the shotgun. Raiders showing blitz. They get out of it. Pressuring Woodley once again, and he throws high and incomplete to Mark Clayton. But each time they penetrate the offensive line of the Dolphins, and Woodley perhaps doing the best he can under a lot of pressure.
All right, we have previously shown you the Raiders' domination during the first half, mitigated in the second quarter. They had totally dominated in the first quarter. Then in the third quarter, by now, Miami led in time of possession, and the Miami figures in total yards were far more favorable. But the big plays were made by the Raiders, and especially the Nelson hit on Woodley, the fumble, and the Townsend run for the touchdown.
Third down and 10, again from the shotgun for Miami. And again, Woodley pressure. It's Bill Pickell, the rookie from Rutgers. He got a lot of help from his friends.
But he's the other one we told you about, Pickell and Townsend.
Yeah, you really can't get on David Woodley's case too heavy. As you can see him, they got tricks going up here. You see Pickell, he's swinging around Big Howie Long. Lyle Alzado came in, took off all the blocking away, and he just came around clean.
No one does it better than the Raiders. I mean, they move those men around, but they know where they're going to be.
And they got so much depth. Their frontline guys, Archie Reese, Pickell, and Townsend are backup linemen. No team had that much depth on the defensive line.
There's a man back in 73 and 74, Greg Pruitt, and he was rushing for 1,000 yards and more for Cleveland. Was also returning punts spectacularly well. Great kick by Roby. Pruitt all the way back to his 25. He had lined up near the 40. And Pruitt, nice return, back out over the 30 to the 33. Thomas defensively there for the Dolphins on a 62-yard effort by Roby. Columbia, the Goodyear blimp hovering overhead, the campus of USC, the Coliseum, as Howard mentioned, the venue for the track and field events in next summer's Olympics. Big night for the Raiders. They're looking to go 3-0 with a win over the Dolphins. They lead 20-0 here in the fourth quarter. Marcus Allen on a 1st and 10 outside and gets another first down close to midfield. And meanwhile on the sidelines, the Dolphins are warming up their rookie first-round draft pick Dan Marino from Pittsburgh.
You may not be that excited about getting in this
I wouldn't think so.
Say, hey, coach, don't you think you got another game better suited for my talent?
I wouldn't want to face that charging bunch of Raiders.
If he puts him in, I think he'll
Des
also.
Hendricks.
If he puts him in, I'm sure Don Shula will have him on the ground.
The machine, Frank, the machine-type product that Schuler and Ansbarger produce, you rarely see them dominated the way they've been dominated by the Raiders. Just shut down.
Allen got the first down at the 49. The former high school quarterback will also throw it. And if he could have got away from one Dolphin, he would have got a lot of yardage. But Charles Bowser playing there, and you might notice on all the Dolphins helmets they are wearing a black number 50. That's in tribute to their teammate Larry Gordon, whom we mentioned early in the telecast, died tragically of a heart attack last spring.
In that sad vein, may I mention that the Raider general partner Ed McGaw passed away Saturday night at Cedars of Lebanon, Mount Sinai Medical Center, out of coronary. He was the original general partner of the Raiders. With them through all of the years, back since 1960.
Second down and 18. Kenny King finds a big hole left side, gets the first down. Miami territory near the 43-yard line.
That was one of the all-time stutter steps. Watch this run. This is one of the all-time stutter steps. He's running a draw, just picks his way, and that's because his linemen are just staying with their guys. Look at Marcus Allen. They're just blocking their guys, holding their blocks, and letting their runner pick his hole.
Third down now and 7. Ball marked just inside the 48-yard line. A little confusion there. Todd Christensen wasn't quite sure what Jim Plunkett had in mind, so Plunkett, rather than waste an effort, come up with an error, he calls timeout. Don Shula, he with a remarkable record, 4th all-time in the history of the NFL. The thing that is remarkable to me is in his 21st year now, he's only had one losing season throughout all those years.
It's a good thing he hasn't played the Raiders more often.
Seemingly. Third down and 7. Raiders on the move. Marcus Allen. Great acceleration. Somebody tried to go in there for the football. He tucks it away and gets the first down at the 38-yard line. Mark Brown finally bringing him down for Miami. Watch how he hides this ball now, O.J. Somebody makes a grab for it.
Well, Marcus has been accused of fumbling the ball a little bit. He makes a great run here, so I'm sure in practice the backfield coach has been emphasizing him, put the ball away, put the ball away. But you know, it's funny how you dominate a team. The L.A. Raiders, that's 5 times. The L.A. Raiders seem to dominate Miami here, 12-3 overall, and some coaches just have other coaches or players' numbers. Miami dominated my teams in Buffalo. We beat them once in 9 years.
Marcus now, and he's 3 yards for 100. Plunkett, Christensen, and Christensen up close to another first down, perhaps a yard short as Glenn Blackwood makes the stop for Miami.
You have to be impressed with this Raiders team. Not only are they tough, not only are they driving a very good Miami defensive line into the ground, but they've got play variety. And the performance of Plunkett tonight is one of the better performances, I think you'll agree, Frank, we've seen him have in recent years.
Actually, he had a pretty good year last year. The Raiders 8-1. No one was any better than that. And they just lost in the playoffs to a superb effort on the part of the Jets. 2nd down and 1. That's Greg Pruitt in there now, giving Marcus Allen a little breather, and Doug Fetters makes the stop.
Well, I tell you, during my career, the one coach that I wish I could have had an opportunity to play for was Don Shula. But the one organization as a player I respected was the Raiders. One, they're probably the highest payroll in the league. They say you get what you pay for. And 2, if you look at their staff, they seem to take care of their players. They have 7 former Oakland Raiders working for them as either coaches or scouts. And that's unusual for an organization to take care of their former players like that.
3rd down and 2. Hawkins going over the left side, looking for the first down.
I think his knee touched earlier. Depends on where it's marked, and I think the official has it cased.
Well, if it's knee touch, it doesn't matter. Somebody has to touch him in
Somebody
the
did.
NFL.
Yeah, and you've got a 20-0 lead. If they don't make it, Tom Flores must be considering definitely the possibility of going for it.
Well, if they make it, Don is going to be doing his do-re-mis wherever he is.
Of course he's going to go for it. We're down to close to 9 minutes left. The clock is killing any faint vestige of Miami hope.
I think they're short, but they're going to bring the sticks out, so it'll give a chance for Tom Flores to communicate with Jim Plunkett. He's already done so. I think they're going to go for it.
But Miami's system just isn't conducive to coming back.
No, I agree with
scores. You know, they normally rely on their defense to keep the game close, and they feel their offense can score at any time if they're within a touchdown. But the way their offense is set up is not set up to come back from three scores against a team like the Oakland L.A. Raiders. I grew up in San Francisco. You know, I was a 49er fan with the Oakland Raiders. For so many years, I'm having trouble getting that.
Everyone does it, Juice. Inches to go. 9:09 remaining in the game. Clock moving. Dolphins in deep trouble. And the Raiders looking very strong now, both offensively and defensively. They only had the 1 sack in the 2nd quarter. Now they'll get it easily on the offside. Hawkins had it on the carry, and it looked as though Miami was offside.
Yeah, I don't think that was induced. Right.
So the drive will continue. It began back at the 37-yard line. Greg Pruitt on the return.
Well, there's still a lot of time.
Number 58 on the defense. First down.
You just don't grind Miami into the ground like this. You just don't.
Well, I wouldn't worry about Miami.
Be pretty close in this game. It was the sack on Woodley by Martin. Townsend on the return. That was the one that put it totally out of reach.
Despite the LA's dominance here, I still think Miami is one of the top 5 teams in the NFL.
Without question.
At the 24-yard line, Hawkins, left side, gets about 4 down inside the 20 near the 19 before Bocamper made the stop for Miami.
Tell you, I think his back juice is one of the better teams in the league, the Niners.
Yeah, I think without a doubt. You know, they had a tough year last year. Their offense, Joe Montana's clicking. Well, he clicked last year. I think Bill Washington's a little more comfortable now, and with the defensive secondary playing the way they're playing up there, the defensive line is giving them a rush. They look like they could be just as tough as they were 2 years ago.
Cowboys looking awfully good.
Always.
They're 3-0 after they win yesterday over the Giants. That's Marcus Allen.
Most disappointing team in the league, Giff, has to be the Jets.
We knew you'd get to that sooner or later, Howard. I thought you lived in New York.
What is it with you and the Jets?
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty hard to lose with their personnel, but they're finding a way.
Yes, I heard a guy intimate that maybe they didn't have the talent yesterday. Well, that's everybody who knows football knows
Exactly.
that they do have talent. You know, I think the problem may be they have some minor injuries on that defensive line, and they're just not playing the type of ball that they played a year ago. But overall, they have the talent there. They're just not playing up to it.
Raiders working on the clock. They have a 3rd down and 5. Marcus Allen. He'll be short of the first down, and again, it'll be about a yard to go for the first down, and it could be in this situation with a 20-0 lead. Chris Barr will come in for the field goal attempt. Nope, we have the 3rd tight end coming in. So the Raiders on 4th down will go once again.
Interesting.
Well, when you're dominating up front the way they're doing, I think what's more important is just to keep the ball and let that clock run, and I think that's what Mr. Flores is thinking.
Well, there must be quite a temptation at this point. Play action, find the man in the end zone.
Or just not snap the ball.
Lead. You can't get hurt.
What if you don't snap the ball? Let him jump. 5 more yards on the field goal, no big deal.
And it's Hawkins over the left side.
And running it is no big deal either tonight for the Raiders.
Big lineman, big offensive lineman just surging out. The Dolphins really are not that big. They play great technical defense under Arnsparger. Their deal is not to give up the big play, stay in the ball game, look for the break, and then win it.
Yeah, well, the Raiders management sort of said that they felt that the type of player they look for, the big guy, you know, they got these 280 and 270-pound tackles, were just the right type of guys to play against the type of individual that Shula likes. If you look at Shula's interior line, they all change positions. You look at their linemen, some of them were linebackers in the past. They're not overly big guys. It's just a matter of matchup.
Bearing out exactly what you say. You remember what the big ones did on Washington.
12-play drive started at the Raiders' own 37. Marcus Allen now well over 100 yards inside the 10-yard line. Gain of 4. Baumauer sliding out for the nose tackle to make the stop.
Here's where a guy like Marcus Allen is real valuable to a team. When you got a lead, you want to protect the lead, you put it on the ground. He's the kind of back that he's better on the 4th carry than he is on the 1st carry. He likes to carry the ball a lot. He likes a lot of work.
He was that right on this field for SC. I used to watch him. He'd carry the ball 25 times, and each time he appeared to get stronger.
You're exactly right, Juice. I thought John Madden made a very interesting point in a CBS telecast yesterday. He was talking about Mark Van Eegen. He said the great backs get better with increased fatigue.
Kenny King, and this time Kenny King is taken there by Ken Bokamper.
Kenny got a little vocal. I guess they pulled his face mask, and if the official didn't call it, he was telling everybody on the field.
We've got it. Flag is down, and they pick it up.
Well, how do you feel about that as a former player, Frank? John said that Van Eegen would be better on the 10th carry or the 15th carry than he was on the 1st, the 2nd, or the 3rd.
I think all the great ones have been that way. Look at Jim Brown. You hammer him all day long. You hold him down as we would sometimes 40 or 50 yards, and in the 4th quarter he'd rip off about 80 or 100.
Face mask by the defense. First down.
And if they aren't like that, they really do not qualify to be called a great back.
In the meantime, did you ever fall to Jimmy Brown's ploy of being hurt when he got up so slowly?
I never fell for any boy. When he was on the field, we were in trouble. First down, goal to go. The Raiders on a roll that began at their 37-yard line. They've used up nearly 9 minutes on this drive. Greg Pruitt and the former Cleveland Brown into the end zone over the left side.
I think I better leave that for Don.
Good to see this man back. Greg Pruitt, he had those great seasons, 73, 74. 75, over 1,000 yards with the Cleveland Browns. Tore up his knee in 78. Raiders got him a couple of years ago. And they have just sort of nurtured him back to good health. His legs are fine now, and he's running once again. There's a little man who could cover the 100-yard dash. We saw him in the Superstars do it 9.6.
Yeah, he's running well. Last week he ran the ball a few times. He averaged probably close to 7 yards a carry. And
Chris Barr
made one.
Chris Barr made another one. And the Raiders are stretching it out. They have a 27-0 lead. And we understand, Don. I wonder if Dottie will.
Working around here, a guy gets very wet on the outside and very dry on the inside.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring yourself right here, the Ritz. Shades of Miller beer. It's what you have in mind. Whoa, welcome to Miller Time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
Welcome, well, you know you're welcome. Welcome. Everybody's welcome. Welcome to Miller Time. Yours and mine.
William Judson, the cornerback for the Dolphins, slow getting up after that conversion. He's off the field now. Chris Barr sets a kickoff, and Fulton Walker is back. Raiders had one sag tonight, a little while in the second quarter. Otherwise, they have dominated. Fulton Walker drifts to the corner and takes it at the 3.
Whoa.
Big opening for Walker, and Walker gets out close to the 35-yard line, and we are going to see a new quarterback. It is Dan Marino coming in, the rookie first-round draft pick, record-setting quarterback for Pittsburgh, and we'll see him when we come back. Dan Marino is the new quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Took Pittsburgh to 4 bowls in the 4 years he was playing there. All-time passing leader for Pittsburgh. He's in a tight situation at the moment, down 27 points. The Raiders thinking pass all the way. And Marino, successful in his first attempt, going out to Mark Duper. We're going to see some of the newer players, I think, now for both ball clubs. And that's not necessarily good for Marino. As O.J. was pointing out during the commercial, we're going to see Townsend and Piquel probably a lot for the Raiders on defense, and they are fine rookie linemen that can really pressure a quarterback.
But you just saw Don Shula on the sidelines. It's one of the reasons you've got to respect him. Indomitability is chiseled into his face. He never quits. He's down 27 points. He's running his team. Keep discipline. Keep your poise.
Gain of 9 by Duper, and we'll have a first down. Woody Bennett over the left side, getting up to about to the 49-yard line.
On the other side of the coin, there is Tom Flores. Repeatedly through the years, Frank, Dandy, O.J. wasn't with us then, and I have talked about Tom Flores and how he labors in the shadows of the heralded Al Davis, heralded in the football sense. And I'll say this, Al has never taken credit away from Flores. He is quite a man, rich in character.
Marino back on first down. Rifle arm, and he fires it out. The ball is not handled by Clayton. A little different velocity on that ball as compared to Woodley's.
You know, I had the opportunity to play with Tom Flores a few games in my rookie year in Buffalo, and my third year in Buffalo, our head coach at the time quit the day we arrived at camp, and they called Tom Flores in to take over the offense. So I've had the opportunity to deal with him on both sides of the, on the field as well as with him on the sideline, and he's a good man. You know, he knows the game of football, and he treats his players well, and they all respect him and know what he gives to this team and organization.
Marino talking it over and looking over a second down and 10. And another drop pass, this time Overstreet. That's twice Overstreet has taking his eyes off the ball before it got there.
Yeah, and a little of that is intimidation. That's why the Raiders they emphasize intimidation. They do it. When you do catch a pass on them, if you get a pass off on them, this 1983 Raider team, you're going to pay for it. And later on in the game, they look for teams to either miss wide open receivers or wide open receivers to block the drop passes.
It's part of the game, just that you won't be around here too long if you're intimidated too often.
Well, you never were. If you could survive Bednarik's hit and come back.
Ought to hit him a little harder. You'd never heard of him again. On 3rd and 10, Marino. Yeah. 3 drop passes in a row, 2 of them by this man, Clayton, and Marino says, hey, guys, I can't catch it for you.
I think he can be intimidated. I was intimidated once, Frank.
Tell me.
Dick Butkus.
Oh, wow.
Wherever I was on the field, I was.
Now, we're talking about something different now.
51.
Yep.
He was the time I saw him.
Oh, you're about to miss, Howard. I think I just about had him miss.
I saw him make a sack. The quarterback got rid of the ball. Forget whether it was Fran or not, playing for the Giants. He completed the pass. Butkus got up, pursued the receiver, stripped the ball, and returned it to the same point where he'd made the almost sack.
Hey, when I first walked on the field with him, he told me he's going to kick me where the sun don't shine, and I respected him ever since.
Screen on 4th down. This is Tony Nathan. And Tony Nathan gets the first down. He gets up to the 40-yard line.
By George, he made it.
And we're going to have a personal foul against the Raiders.
I guess they're trying to get him set up for the next time they played him. You know.
There's David Woodley, and you can see it's not been a happy occasion for him.
I think it's unfair to say he had a bad game. Well, he had a bad game, but look what he was up against the whole game. Even when he got passes off, he got tagged this game.
Yeah, but that was Marino. He's got a taste of it.
Roughing the passer, number 93 of the defense, added on to the end of the play. First down.
Greg Townsend fitting right into the Raiders' defensive scheme of things. Returning a fumble, 64 yards for a touchdown. Roughing the passer, getting the passer's attention, if you will.
Couple of sacks.
First down for the Dolphins, who are trying to get the goose egg off the scoreboard at the 25-yard line of the Raiders. Marino has the good pass called, and he gets the ball to Joe Rose, and Joe Rose kills the clock, getting out of bounds inside the 16. 3:57 remaining in the game.
That's the ticket.
It's so easy now. You wonder why they couldn't do it all again. Obviously, the Raiders aren't playing with the intensity that they played with earlier, but we saw 3 drop balls, all medium passes, and we wondered throughout the game why they didn't try to throw more intermediate passes. I guess they tried, but the Raiders' defensive line was putting a lot of heat on them.
Second down, short yardage. Good waist down for Marino if he wants to get into the end zone with it. Overstreet. That's good running. David Overstreet gliding, making the cut, accelerating, and he gets the first down. He's inside the 10, close to the 7.
I'll tell you, I see talent in that young man.
He had troubles up in the Canadian Football League, if we watch again, with the fumbles, but he produced a lot of yardage for them. And they released him after a few games last year. Miami had drafted him, number 1 in 81, and they're glad to have him back. Timing pattern and almost picked off Jim Davis, who picked one off earlier to set up a Raider touchdown just before the half was there.
As you can see, it's just enough. It's one of those patterns they completed earlier than Nat Moore. Going down the sideline, the passes, they just get the ball up. If the cornerback is playing the man and not watching the ball, often the receiver can get up over him and catch the pass.
Davis should have caught it.
Mark Clayton made a good move to save the interception. Second down, goal to go. Ball right at the 7-yard line. Marino throws into a crowd short of the end zone, and Nathan comes out of the pack with it. We'll have a third down goal to go. The ball inside the 2. Raiders next Sunday will be in Denver for their next game. They'll be undefeated. The Dallas Cowboys, the only other undefeated, and this just the third week in the NFL. For Miami, they'll be home in Miami against Kansas City, who played surprisingly strong football yesterday against the Washington Redskins. And Marino calls timeout. He'll drift over to talk to Don Shula. 2:40 remaining in the game, and we'll be back at the Coliseum in a moment. Actually, that should read 7 of 8. Dan Marino came on, took the Dolphins over at his own 34-yard line. His first 3 passes were right in the hands of receivers. They were dropped. He stayed in there, got a screen pass off on 4th down, got the 1st down, and has taken the Dolphins to a 3rd down goal to go inside the 2-yard line. Dan Marino, he's big. He's 6'3", 214 pounder. Overstreet in a whole lot of trouble. To the 6-yard line. The first man there was Kenny Hill. He got a lot of help.
I don't envy David Woodley, Frank, as we look at the great coach about to suffer an embarrassing defeat. I don't envy Woodley because he's got to know that Shula is so high on Marino, and in the long run, Marino and not Woodley is his quarterback of the future. It's a very tough spot to be in.
Yeah, especially at his age, you know, an aging ball player, sometimes he can, you know, handle it, but a young kid.
4th down, and Raiders are looking for the shutout. What's remaining of the crowd is shouting defense. Marino, diving catch, Joe Rose. The flag is down, however.
What a great throw, though.
What a great catch by Joe Rose. That ball went through a couple of pair of hands. I'm sure he didn't see it until it cleared at the last minute and made a real nice dabbing.
I think that's going to go against the Raiders.
It appears so.
Let's hope so.
Pass interference. Number 45 on the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Yeah,
Jim Davis, a great diving catch on a timing pass from Dan Marino, who was also under pressure, showing a lot of cool. That was a great catch.
Really was.
Concentration.
But Marino is being blitzed, and he held together and threw a fine ball. And did you see Shula? It's as if he was back in the game.
Hey, Marino has not thrown a bad ball yet. Von Schaman for the conversion as the Dolphins are off the schneid. (27-7). And Joe Rose, the receiving tight end, if you will, worked last year with Bruce Hardy and Ronnie Lee. Ronnie Lee is now gone. The Dolphins very pleased with their Dan Johnson. He will see most of the duties, but you'll see a lot of Joe Rose over the remainder of this year, surely in passing situations. There he is, 4th-year man out of California, 6'3", 230-pounder. So the Raiders are going to remain undefeated. We'll check out the National League.
Well, National League Finals. Expos swept the Cardinals. Forget the Cards. Expos 2 behind. Bucks 2 behind. Mets rallied to beat them. Bills won. So Bills getting some breathing space in the late days of the pennant race. Houston leading the Dodgers, and the Padres and Giants tied in a meaningless game.
And right now, the Raiders are anticipating an onside kick. They have one man deep. Greg Pruitt has dropped back, but they have all their sure-handed types up front. Actually, they have now dropped Cleve Montgomery as speedster. Greg Pruitt getting a little breather. But all the receiver types are up right around midfield, expecting the onside kick from Von Schaman with 2:29 remaining in the game. And they get it, and I think they might get it back.
Don't you love the way the team that wants... Well, they got it.
It bounced right off a Raider. I think it was Garrick Jensen. Now, he's a tight end. He should have handled that easily. It popped right out of his chest, and the Dolphins were there. Marino has the ball back once again.
And the Birds of Baltimore keep flying. And the Yankees and Guidry lost to the Red Sox. Twins beat the White Sox as if it matters. And Kansas City won the first, trails in the second over the Angels, the most disappointing team perhaps in baseball this year.
41-yard line. The Miami Dolphins out of the shotgun. Game, of course, out of reach. And Don Shula taking a long look at his rookie quarterback, Dan Marino. Sends Tony Nathan over the left side. Nathan will get about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Shula will play this to the end.
It's important for his team to keep playing now because they may find themselves in this situation with a game on the line.
Marino again right on target, and again it's Joe Rose. And we'll get the 2-minute warning. Marino has connected with Joe Rose. A first down for Miami inside the 42-yard line. We have 2 minutes remaining in the game, and we'll be back at the Coliseum in a moment.
Esther, you did send that Federal Express, didn't you?
Oh, yes, Mr. Bogus, you're covered.
Oh, Ed, you did send that Federal, didn't you?
Yes, Fred, we're covered. You sent that thing Federal, didn't you, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm covered. I'm covered.
I'm covered.
Hey, I'm covered.
Are you covered? I'm covered.
I'm covered. Are you covered?
I'm covered. Are you covered?
I think we're all covered.
I'm covered if he's covered.
Cover yourself with Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
I was the first one on our block to own the brand new Nissan Stanza sedan. I love this luxurious roomy interior with power windows and 4-speaker stereo with cassette. So when I drove this front-wheel drive beauty and checked the sticker price, I bought it. Then Jack drove it and bought one. And Bill drove it and bought one. Now we have 3 Nissan Stanzas on our block. 4.
Also available in 2- and 4-door hatchback.
Miami Dolphins looking for more respectability. Trailing 27-7. They got the onside kick, and Dan Marino now is the 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line of the Raiders. He's back once again. Looking deep. And almost picked off by Jim Davis. Mark Duper, a speedster out of Northwest State, Louisiana, in the corner of the end zone.
To the end of the play on the ice. So I'm going to tell you something. This Jim Davis is turning out to be a ball player. He's
had a
made
good
some
evening,
real nice plays tonight. We'll put a little heat on Mr. Watts. As Ted Watts has been burnt at least once every week, it seems, but he's a good cornerback. He just hasn't been able to judge when the ball arrives. He's one of these guys that covers his man with his back to the quarterback.
It's pretty difficult if you're a cornerback by profession. That makes a problem.
Yeah, but normally these guys can read the receiver and tell when the ball arrives and make the play. He has a little difficulty doing that. But he's a fine corner.
2nd down and 10 from the shotgun again. Dolphins pick up the blitz, and Marino's on target, hitting Tony Nathan. Nathan up there for 1st down yardage. Give us an opportunity to tell you this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. The 1st down at the 31-yard line. No huddle for the Dolphins. Marino back, dumps it over the middle, and it goes to David Overstreet. That's how you fumble it and carry it out like that.
It's easy to say it now. You know, we realize the game isn't being played as intensely as it was earlier, but you wonder why they weren't throwing that little dump pass a few more times. Obviously, some of their better players aren't in the game now. You don't see Millen or Bob Nelson in the middle. And the
2nd down and 3, and Joe Rose gets the 1st down inside the 15, and the Dolphins continue to move.
Nonetheless, they're not playing against statues, and you have to be impressed with young Marino.
Great practice for young Marino, too. He's playing like this game, the final hurry-up part of the game, with their 2-minute offensive drill, as though he could pull this out. And they know they're not going to. They're inside 1 minute, of course. He's 9 of 14. There 4 of them have been dropped for 77 yards. And he fires another one to Mark Duper, who makes a very tough catch on that angle. That ball was really humming. And Marino calls timeout.
Shula is so great a coach, Frank, that he excels even when losing, and he's proving it tonight. He is developing Marino. He's giving him his shot, and this kid looks terrific.
We're playing a game now with Marino, almost as though, let's look at this as a game we can pull out. And he's coaching it that way. Marino is playing it that way. And, well, we will have have ended our 5th game in 15 days. A week from tonight will be at Giant Stadium in New Jersey. Green Bay Packers come to town. We were there when the lights went out a year ago, Howard.
Yep, that was the last game before the strike. And I'll never forget the James Lofton touchdown on the great reverse play that Green Bay runs with him on the end of it. What an athlete.
He is off to some year, isn't he?
He is just a truly great athlete. But it's not easy to run that play on the Giants. The Giants languish from absence of offense, but nobody questions their defense. And their defense played practically perfect football for most of the first half against the Cowboys, and then they came back. The Giants didn't. The Cowboys knew they were in a struggle.
So Dan Marino has come on late, and as we have said many times, while he's working against the irregulars, if you will, of the Raiders' defense, he has performed well. He has thrown the ball in excellent fashion. And he gets another one off to avoid the sack. David Overstreet was all alone in the end zone, but Marino has really hammered Howie Long, who remains in there as one of the starters, was right in Marino's face, and he knocked him to the turf here at the Coliseum. I guess he's thinking, well, my youngster's getting the work that he needs. 25 seconds now remaining in the game. We'll see Miami again on November the 28th against Cincinnati, and then on December the 16th against the New York Jets. Second down goal to go. Time's run out, and a flag is down. Duper was working against Davis, and I think Davis has drawn another interference call.
You're right.
And so Dan Marino,
all right,
gets the Dolphins into the end zone now for a second down.
Interference. Number 45 on the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Take a look at the ISO. He has one check. He checks the mirrors one time, and I don't see the infraction.
I didn't either. Might have called it the other way. Might have been.
Well, it's certainly academic because the Dolphins hang up the points. Ron Shaman for the conversion. We'll see another onside kick with 20 seconds remaining.
You're right.
Ron Shaman drills it through the uprights.
Another onside kick.
Mark Duper. A lot of speed. 5'9", 193-pounder. Made his first couple of receptions of the season here tonight. We'll see the Raiders twice more this year. We'll see them Sunday, October the 23rd at Dallas. The Raiders and Dallas now are the only two undefeated teams remaining in the NFL. And we'll watch the Raiders again on Thursday, December the 1st at San Diego, and that could be quite a decider.
Yes, it could.
Chargers dropping another one yesterday up at Seattle. Great effort on the part of Chuck Knox and Jim Zorn.
How about Mr. Warner?
Oh, he's something else. The Raiderettes. You think they're the finest in the league, I think.
I think they're right at the top. It's going to be hard to beat them. Of course, they have a big area to choose from.
All right, Miami will once again go with the onside kick, and the Raiders have all their sure-handed types up near midfield. The ball has to travel 10 yards before Miami can recover it, unless it's touched by a Raider. This time the Raiders collect it. 44-yard line. Falling on the football, the tight end recently acquired from New England, Don Hasselbeck. Another 5-second pause for our stations to identify themselves.
You're watching Channel 47, KJEO Fresno.
So the Raiders dominating throughout most of the game, having a little bit of a lapse in the second quarter, but they recovered from that. They're going to take their third win of the season. They beat Cincinnati in their opener. They beat Houston last Sunday, and they have taken the Miami Dolphins. Raiders picking up where they left off a year ago when they had an 8-1 season in the strike abbreviated season. And that will be it. Dan Marino showing a lot of promise tonight. And for Tom Flores, victory number 3 of this young season. For Don Shula, back to the drawing board. And, of course, Don Shula is thinking only now of Kansas City next Sunday. We'll be right back. The LA Raiders are winners over Miami 27-14. Coming up tonight on Nightline, the deepening U.S. involvement in the fighting in Lebanon. Where do we stand and how much further will we go? And an update on the America's Cup now that Australia is back in the race. That's tonight on Nightline following your late local news. Our blimp has been provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies to Hong Kong for more top business centers with 3-class Royal Pacific service. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. We'll see you next Monday night from Giants Stadium in New Jersey with the Giants and Packers.